G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. I'm Execute. Shit, what the fuck happened to my throat there? I'm joined today by Grim, and I'm joined by Algared. Hope you guys are doing well. No, I just chewed on my own words.
Doing fair.
Been good.
All right, I can hear
It's
myself.
obviously, I'm jacked up on stims.
Something close to that. But yeah, this is our recovery stream. So I haven't recovered yet. I still, as I was saying to Algared and Grim just before we started, I still feel it in the shoulders. It's like a tired muscle thing. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't got back to.
It's all that IAE stress.
Well,
that's just slowly dissipating.
Indeed.
Well, I streamed with you yesterday, Grim, and
Yep.
I slept 16 hours, and then instantly I went. Well, I wish, but the very next day I went back to sleep again, and I got like 4 lots of 2 hours. So,
I did feel appropriately bad for roping you in.
No, you know me. I really enjoy hanging out with you and talking about chips, as I do Algared. So, good to have both of you here. Your overlord's away, Grim. So and your underlings. So you've got a free day to hang out with us. So I thank you very much for joining us. I do appreciate it. On your 1 day out let out of your cell.
No problem. Happy to be here.
He had to do his community service with us. For,
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's not. He's not been let out of his cell. He's doing community service.
She lets him out, but he's gonna be on a lead. He's gonna be supervised.
He's probably got an ankle bracelet.
It's only because of good behavior.
All right.
Only because of good behavior.
Yeah, we've let you out of the corrections. What is it? The correction center on.
It's like the halfway house. I'm living in a halfway house.
Yeah, and you're doing some community service for old man Hurston. Yeah.
How much did you guys spend at AIE? We'll start there. I think that's a safe place to start. You're among friends. You're among friends. No one's watching. It's just us. It's
mine's very easy. It was the $60 game pack, which was about $90 because everything else was locked down. My account will not let me buy anything from a shop. I'd have to
ask the Star Citizen accountant, but I think I spent in the neighborhood of about 150, and most of that was the Salvation and like CCUs and things like the Ironclad, the Raelian, and the Thingo. I'm gonna have to send a message to Piggles because the bot is not working. Can you turn on bot?
Yeah, look, that starter pack with the Salvation is, and I'm not sure if it's still available. If it is, limited to 1 per account, but man, that is a good buy. That is a good starter pack. I was a bit.
I really wish they weren't limited though, because it would have been great to have the giveaways. But it's a great.
Exactly. I was going to buy 2 or 3 as giveaways to give to people, but
it shows how good they are. That's why they limit them.
Yeah, but that's how good they are. So if you've got a starter pack with an Aurora or a Mustang and it doesn't have LTI, or it's only got 1,000 UEC, mate, melt the damn thing, buy that Salvation because it's got 40,000 UEC just as just that alone,
and the skin and the gear and all that. As I said, it literally goes down below $20 of cost when you deduct all the things that comes with it. It's kind of crazy. Or the other way you can look at it, you get the game for like $8, which is also crazy. It's just ridiculous. There's no reason to buy MDC when that was around. It was kind of crazy. Did you pick one up, Greg, or did you restrain yourself?
No, I'll be honest with you. I went into this IE not thinking I would be interested in anything other than whatever the Drake ship was, and I ended up walking away with one of everything. The MDC is exactly what I wanted it to be, so I picked it up. The Salvation, I'm going to pick up any salvaging ship because it's one of my favorite gameplay loops. So that was an easy one through that starter package. The Clipper, obviously, I picked up. Already had a Perseus, so I didn't have to worry about that per se. But the other big surprise for me was the L-22 Alpha Wolf. Again, another ship that I went into IAE thinking, I don't want this. It's just going to be a slight power creep upgrade. But then I messed with it in game, and because of the weapon kits, I bought that one. Well, I CCU'd my Wolf to the Alpha Wolf, to be fair, so I didn't put a ton of money in. But all in all, I think I spent about 400 this IAE.
Yeah, I did intend to upgrade some some of my smaller ships into those, but unfortunately, my account does not let me buy anything. The SKUs are faulty, so will not let me buy.
Did not have this set up for 3 people, unfortunately. I thought I did, but I don't. I do have this one set up for 3 people, though, so we can go to that one. There we go. I thought I'd just play this in the background. It was interesting.
There was some interesting stuff in that.
Yeah. But most of it was stuff you and I had already heard and kind of expected. Grim and I talked about this a lot yesterday, so we can obviously go over it again. And there's also the post that we can go over as well. I don't know if you saw this, Algared, but it was 7 posts. I haven't seen that yet. It was huge. Yep. Like, it was massive. Yeah. I'll send it through to you real quick.
I did notice that I managed to get into the PTU a little bit this morning, and I pulled up my reclaimer. The reclaimer still doesn't have fuses or other stuff, but it now does have an engineering map. And I tried to actually cause it to overheat. So I turned off the coolers and was jacking up the engines. And it was starting to heat up. But it was 5 minutes in and I still hadn't managed to cause it to get a fire anywhere. So they've certainly slowed down that process. And that's what he was saying. The impression I got from the video was that's what they were doing. It slowed it down. So it wasn't it wasn't like going to work. So yeah.
I'm still trying to get the bot running, but Pickles has gone to bed. And for some reason the old one's not working anymore, and so we have to use the new one, but he's not here to turn his PC on. This is why I didn't want his PC to be done this way, but anyway. So we're just gonna have to do it.
So that means
the old-fashioned way.
We've got to do it the old-fashioned way. So Layson, first time chat on Twitch. At me, I had a similar issue with the invalid buyback SKUs. Oh, well, thank you. I logged out of everything and cleared my cache on the browsers I was using on devices and was able to get work. Fortunately, I've done that. I've logged out of everything. I've cleared caches. I've shut down computer, and it's still not doing anything. So, but thank you for that, and welcome to the channel.
And by the way, I'll apologize now. I do have a slight cough. Hopefully that will not annoy anyone that is popping up for me. Yeah, I mean, I originally I was wondering when they released this big engineering design design document, whatever they want to call it. I was like, oh, why didn't they do like a nice pretty one on the website like they did for medical and stuff? And then it clicked to me. Oh, because they're making active changes to everything they posted in real time, practically 5 minutes after they posted it. And it's just, it's kind of engineering coming in, and the way it's coming in, to me, is a little bit of a kind of a slap in the face reminder that, hey, I know we've just got through a year of monthly content where every time we released it, it was like this like polished game experience and everything. But hey, we're still testing, right? This is still, you're in the mud testing a work and in development sort of project. And the way engineering came in with all these active changes was like a stark reminder of that. And it's good. I mean, it feels like personally we should have had more tech previews throughout the year of engineering. It's still a little surprising to me that it's dropping in our hands now, but again, if you reframe it in your mind as we are testing, and that is a fact, then it makes sense to go ahead and get it out to everybody so we can start getting through the growing pains that will be engineering.
They did show a little fear too when they kind of said we didn't want to release all of it, but I think they know their audience well enough to know what was going to happen. And as soon as I played it, my first thought was like, like how are people going to respond to this? So,
Sorry, I've just got to get up just so I can see the logo. It's not just an ordinary t-shirt. Chat is saying that dang, Algared can do casual. Save the Uwu girls for the rest of us. So, but yeah, it's partly because it's Currently about, let's see, what my watch claims it is 32 degrees. The temperature today will be 40, which is in Fahrenheit over 100. So we're going to be over 100, and I'm already going, help me, I'm melting, I'm melting.
Yep.
So,
you have to get you a new air conditioner, Algared, I think. Or some of those Uwe girls were just going to be a big fan. So you can...
Yeah, with Uwe girls doing the fanning, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my initial impressions of it too have been really good because I'm all about engineering. My real complaints. You asked an interesting question. We had when we had one of our guest speakers on yesterday, Execute, which was, what do you want? What do you think needs to change about engineering that's not related to just numbers that can be easily altered, right? And I got to thinking about that a little bit after that show, and what I've come to on engineering is engineering has been put into the game within the context of it's something to fix a problem, right? It's when things are going bad, you do the engineering gameplay and thus fix the problem, which is fine. I do hope that CIG focuses on the other side of that engineering coin, which is prevention and or even buffing a ship. And what I mean by that is like by doing good engineering, you can strengthen the ship, for certain situations beyond. And you can do that a little bit, obviously, by juicing certain components or certain, certain things through the power module. But just the ability to tune these things to give your ship an advantage in certain types of gameplay, as long as you pre-plan, as well as some of that upkeep maintenance, to prevent wear and tear. I think if they could just bring aspects of engineering into the game that are either that are more proactive and preventative instead of always defensive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, even as I was looking at it today, like I had the reclaimer up, I had everything jacked up high, coolers off, and as I was looking at the map, I was noticing that the PDSs were actually wearing out. They're actually showing wear, even though the ship had just been pulled out of hangar. So they were going down. They were about 97 when I was looking and dropping, a little bit.
Yeah.
And that, I think, was just the heat that was being generated was actually causing them damage. But like you said, there's no, apart from going around putting fuses in on ships, which have got fuse boxes. The Reclaimer has nothing. Has no components. Has no fuse boxes.
Or Reclaimer.
Yeah. What did I say? Retaliator.
No, you said Reclaimer. No, I'm just saying poor Reclaimer. It needs so much help.
Yeah. So, if that gets in trouble, all you can do is put out fires and hit it with your repair gun and hope that does the job. But it's,
someone brought up the idea that what about these long distance ships that are supposed to go out? Are they just going to suddenly start wearing to the point where you can't take them very far and then they have to come back? And that kind of led to that discussion of we need that preventative maintenance side of engineering. And I think CIG could easily do that by an engineer going to the engineering console, pulling up a specific component or a PDC or whatever, and you're able, let's just call it a diagnostic. You're able to run a diagnostic on it, which sort of resets its wear. You know what I mean? It maybe not resets its wear back to 100, but gets it from 75 back to 90%. And that allows you to stay out longer because you're doing that preventative diagnostic maintenance.
It would be nice. Like they've already got the you can see in the character they've got a 3D printer kind of box in there now.
Yeah.
You've got the fabrication points in the clip bar and turning up in other ships, so you can see that's going to be part of that prevention stuff of part breaks. You reprint it, you put it in, but that still feels more reacting to the problem rather than, as you're saying, going up, okay, we'll make sure there's a third fuse box in. Okay, we'll take this component out, we'll put this one in, we'll adjust this one, we'll clean this one up, and changing bits and pieces. It'd be nice to see a gun where you take out a part and tweak it or fix it and put it back to repair or help maintain. But
And I don't know if you remember, they did that. I think it was called Design Brief Engineering, and it was an Inside Star Citizen episode a couple years ago, where they talked about these different roles. Right, one was of like engineer, one was of a mechanic, and I think one was like tuner. So part of me does think that CIG does have that in sort of the long-term plans, that kind of tuner gameplay where you're being more proactive. I don't know if they've changed, their direction since then, but at least at one point, I think that was part of the idea behind engineering.
Well, you've also got to remember that the wonderful, awesome, fantastic godship, aka known as the Endeavour, has that super collider, and the super collider's sole purpose was for basically used when you were overclocking your components. And tuning your components. So that's always been part of it. But I think what we're getting in engineering now is engineering, 0 point, 0 point, it's the first stage of engineering we're getting. It's not where it's going to end. It's like mining. When mining came in, it was wow, this is big, but no, that wasn't even where it was going to start or where it was going to end. And every time they kept iterating and adding new bits. And I think that's what we'll see with this as well. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, and we know that for a fact that there's stuff missing. For example, gravity control being one. So we know that at some point there's going to be additional features coming online for this. So it's exciting. The way I keep phrasing it to everyone, I know Execute's probably heard me say this before, but where the way I frame engineering is where previously the ships unlocked gameplay for us, other gameplay loops like salvage and mining and this and that. Engineering is the first thing that turns the ships themselves into a gameplay loop. So it is a pretty fundamental shift in how we view our ships. They're not just this A to B vessel anymore. They are now their own self-circulating game loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is fun. Like, for example, I could see in the future when we are in like a 1.0 environment where things are more permanent, persistence and all that, I could see people doing entire YouTube series on like how long they can keep a ship out, you know what I mean? And sort of endurance test ships, like non-quantum travels across Stanton or whatnot, So I think the future is really bright. And obviously this is just the initial implementation, but it's going to shake things up a lot. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people, but it's like getting into hot water at first. You got to slowly get into it and get used to it,
Yeah. And I'd like to see that. And that element of engineering where it is going into that preventative style and maintaining the ship. But at the moment, one of the key things, and you've said it yourself, it's not really engineering per se. As you were talking, I was thinking it's actually more like damage control. It's like the damage control party's running around and doing stuff, not the engineer. And that's that's what it feels like. The engineer is kind of doing the power management, but once that goes bung, you're running around doing damage control.
I saw someone on X just today. I think they were being, obviously a little salty, of course, but I get what they were saying. They said something like, "It's not engineering gameplay; it's firefighting gameplay. That's all this is."
Yeah.
But I got what they were saying. It's a reactive damage control sort of thing. And when they bring those other sides to that coin in, I think it's going to get really, really interesting and give the engineer a role to play in mission planning. If you're doing fleet ops, an engineer is going to want to know, hey, where are we going? Are we expected to run into any trouble? What extras do I need to bring? What all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I got the bot working. It is up. It took me a little while in the background to get that done. If you were wondering why I was so quiet, that's what I was doing. It was a pain in the ass.
We could see that.
You guys could see it. The Piggles had restarted and reconfigured it, so I had to, instead of him just giving me the commands, he had to play difficult and make me jump through all these bloody hoops. But it's done. It's different.
He likes you to jump through.
That'd be fine if we were not live. If we were just make it work, Piggles, while I'm live. Don't give a shit when I'm not live. I'll do all the hoops you want me to when I'm not live, but when I'm live, please just do it for me. Anyway, we're going now anyway. So a bunch of YouTube ones have come in. All the Twitch ones, unfortunately, because of the way Twitch works. If you had a question, now please re-ask it. Just on Twitch. YouTube, you're fine because of the way their API works. But on Twitch, I missed them all. Sorry. So if you had a question on Twitch, please do them again. Apologies for that. Can't be helped. It's just the way the systems work.
Indeed.
This video keeps stopping every time I get off the top. That's annoying. Have a look at that.
Now we in the his question or our questions?
Starscream.
Starscream.
All right, so I'll go back to that over here. Right. First question then. Except it doesn't skip Nightbot. Anyway, Algared, do you have an alt account if you were locked out?
I do have an alt account, but I haven't used it for a long time. I've got Old Man Hurston, and I've got Jossatune. So I could have used those, but I wanted those things on the Al account, not on the alt accounts that only have an Aurora. Actually, the Jossatune has the not the Clipper, the other Drake small ship, the startup, the
Golem, the
cutter.
The cutter has a cutter, the base cutter. And Old Man Hurston has, I think he has nothing. I think I actually passed his stuff over to Al. So,
okay.
So he's just an old man with no account, nothing else, just an account, just an empty account. But yeah.
Right, Nova A42. Haven't seen him in a while. Has there been an update to the Liberator during IAE? I think I heard it got changed from a strict ferry type ship to one more of a Bob pocket carrier ship. Thanks for the great IAE coverage. You are most welcome. What I do it for to help you guys out. But yeah, Bob. I think that's pretty much what SA and was it Maximilian? I think his name was. Talked about, and there was another acronym they had in there. It was like an FOD or something as well. So yeah,
it's more fan speculation on where we think CIG hasn't. Just from an official standpoint, CIG hasn't said anything about the Liberator other than it's in pre-production, or which could mean a lot of things. I do think quite a bit will change about the ship. So. Yeah, but I think the Liberator, a lot like the Kraken and some of those other general purpose large ships, you're going to be able to kind of make it your own.
Look at you with your dog. Now even the cats look more cute than you. Where are they?
Hey, look. I can't fully escape some duties.
Yeah. Everyone else left, so she's clinging to you for dear life. That's all right. Yeah. Okay. Next question, Algared, if you'd like to do one.
The next question is from Shinobi Trip, who says, is it a crime that in 4.5 you can't use the fire extinguisher in EVA as a method of propulsion?
That was one of the very first things I tested. But when I was in Evacati, I wanted to be able to do that. But no, I think like most things at CIG, if we come in on it, eventually it will be a thing. But honestly, like I said, I want multiple different fire extinguishers. I said this on the stream yesterday with Grim. I want to see foam ones as well. I still think we probably should do a poll, Grim. So we're talking about Drake escape pods on his stream yesterday, Algared, for the Kraken. Now, should they be like they're making these inflatable space stations? So is it an inflatable one and just sitting there like a little plastic bubble waiting to be rescued? Or someone suggested it's really cheap and it's literally a fire extinguisher that's modified and you wear a gas mask. So it's two tanks, one that's a fire extinguisher, one that's air, and then it explodes and just covers you in literally expandable foam. That's
so it's an airbag.
And they're going to chip you out to get you out of the escape pod. Gotcha. Yeah. It just covers you in expandable foams, like a cheap man's. Maybe that's the grey market Shiv one, and the Drake one's just a little bit more upper class with the bubble wrap or the bubble. But I think
they can use that fancy. They can use that fancy rope tech and just slingshot you out of the ship.
Yeah.
I did just have a look back at the Liberator and see what the Matrix of Lies claims about it.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix of Lies still has it listed as a light carrier, but the description clearly to me says they haven't really changed what they were originally saying. So Anvil continues its tradition of excellence with the Liberator, an open air vehicle carrier that applies the tradition of long-range transport on a small scale. Designed with the same quantum drive and long-distance capabilities of military spec carriers and Pathfinders, but tailored to the civilian market. The Liberator puts your fleet on the front lines of any operation. So to me, that says it's still listed as a ferry, as a shipping ship, but everything seems to say it's no longer needed because every ship, apart from snubs, has a quantum drive and a jump drive. So what's the point? So it's
I do want to ask something here because I was trying to find a CCU. So if someone's got one of these, I'll tell you why I want it. I'm looking for an Arastra to Merchantman that was available during the sale. They're about $25 if someone's got one. And the reason I want one, it's the missing link in the chain. And then I'm going to have one for a Perseus that we can give away. So if I can get one of those upgrades off someone, down the line, we'll give away a Perseus. If not, I have to wait to Invictus. So that's basically the long and the short of it. So if anyone's got one that they're happy to part with, I don't want to put any pressure on anyone. If you just have a spare, I'm happy to pay you what you paid for it. And basically it'll be going back to the community anyway. So if you don't have one, no harm, no foul. I'll just wait till we get back to Invictus and then we'll have a Perseus after Invictus, whatever. But I just thought I'd ask why I'm thinking of it. Maybe I'll ask again. Now, the other thing I got to do while I'm thinking of it is we were doing a giveaway for a Paladin during AIE.
That's right, we were.
And I was so tired, I stuffed it up and I got it to end yesterday at 1 p.m. our time. And it was meant to end at 1 p.m. today. So I've put it back up and I've talked to the gentleman that got drawn out and he is totally fine with me. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the one that for the 24 hours, so everyone on the stream can jump into the Discord and they can jump into that giveaway. And then what I'm going to do is just do a wheel of names between him and whoever comes out from the live stream today, and that's who's going to take it. And he's totally cool with that. He was very surprised he actually won, and I said, I was like, why are you contacting me? And he goes, there isn't a giveaway until tomorrow. And then I discussed it with him, and I was going to give him the ship. And then basically he was kind enough to say no, just do it again. But I had no way to kind of do it again without losing all the names. So I basically said, well, how's this for a compromise? And he was cool with that. So he still gets a 50-50 chance of winning, but everyone that's on the stream today has a 50-50 chance to jump in. And so that's all on me. So I could just give it to him. But he was happy enough to give you guys a chance today, so he's being very lucky. And again, if we don't do that Perseus giveaway, by the way, I do have a Polaris one as well, Algared. I could actually upgrade it to a Polaris. You know those hammerhead ones you and I had? I've still got 3 of those. So we could go that way as well.
Of those.
Yeah. So we'll have
Jason Taylor
about it. But so go ahead.
Thank you for saying, hey, I've got a spare Perseus. Do you need my second Perseus? What we're looking for is the CCU to bring the cost of the Perseus we want to give away down. We don't. We're not.
I don't know. How do you feel about people giving you ships, Grim, to give away? I've never really been a big.
We get a lot of those during St. Jude, and it is great.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be totally honest with you. The rest of the year, this is just my own personal thing with my personal content. I prefer to handle it myself. Yeah. And have done so pretty much exclusively. Yeah. Yeah. So it's appreciated, but I try to do it myself.
So again, if you want to do something like for charity or something like that with that Perseus, then if you want to put that to a good cause, then absolutely we'll help you do that. But when but when we're doing giveaways, we're happy to take them from CIG. Or
when we're funding them ourselves just to do a giveaway to
something like that. So
promote our channel. That's different.
Yeah.
want one of
So,
my
yeah.
my Spirit Crimson paints? We'll reach out, Spike, and I'll see if I can get you sorted with one of those, buddy. But again, yeah, there's a lot of things that me and Algared could do to raise money. We were having a little bit of discussion before the show about CitizenCon this year, because Algared can't go. I don't really want to go, but if we have to go, then we'll talk about that as we get there.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah,
it's gonna be tough. I've left 2 weeks because I can only travel a certain amount of days a year, so I've deliberately left 2 weeks to travel. So I'm essentially going to go there, be there a week before, do CitizenCon week after, and come home. That's kind of my plan at this stage. But that's only if I have to. If I don't have to, then I won't. It's a long way to go all the way around the world. It is literally long. I actually looked it up. The only journey that is longer, Algared, that it turns out from Tasmania, is literally to go to Denmark, which is a further 3 hours past what we went.
Okay.
So, and that's to the north of Denmark, right? It's literally considered the longest journey in the world. It's absolutely bonkers because what and the thing is, once you go to New Zealand, it's quicker to go the other way. So you go via United States across. I thought that was insane. So,
it is.
Yeah. So to tell you the distance I'm traveling, because I live on a very small island at the arse end of the world, literally. But yeah, so that just some of the things that we're gonna have to deal with this year. But I don't want to milk people for money or anything like that. That's not how I am. It's got to be that you guys want me to go as much as I want to go. It's got to be for things that we need and want and things like that, not just for raising money. We don't do this for money reasons. It's never been the case. And I know you're the same as well, Grim, aren't you? Well, he does the whole St. Jude's thing. Maybe that's something we could look at helping you out with this year too, if you want some help with that. Because I think it's a good cause, and it's good to see that you and Andrew have got behind it a lot. And it's not the easiest thing to help people with good causes, but I am one of those people. Like, the first thing we ever gave away was an F7A upgrade. They were really, really rare. And the guy that brought it to us, he had a friend that had passed away. And it was and that, and all the proceeds and that basically went to talking about depression and getting them to talk to people and stuff like that. It was a far better use of the upgrade, in my opinion, than just going, give me a bunch of money. That's just not the way I operate, and I'm not a big money person. Anyone will tell you that.
I mean, I have a Patreon, and most of the money from Patreon goes to 2 things. It either goes to rendering, like 3D stuff, or it goes to new ships, especially small ships like starter packages or things like that, for giveaways. So the money kind of circles right from the people right back out to the people. So
I think ours goes into replacing our equipment that dies.
Yeah, well, that too.
And it never really covers it. It just contributes.
So
I
also make sure all the mods and stuff that work for us have like I went and got Lemming a mic, I got SA a mic and some and things like that. So I try to help those guys. I give back as much as I can. I brought them all the digital CitizenCon's goodie pack with the YouTube money and stuff like that. I don't just hoard it to myself. That's not who I am.
No, it's one of the things we like to do is if we've got regular guests who like Lemming or SA who keep coming, who we keep dragging onto our channel, kicking and screaming. We do try to upgrade their equipment to make sure it's.
We help Paul as well. Like
working.
Because Paul has.
Well, we keep dragging him onto our channel as well. So.
Well, Paul he had a lot of dental bills, and he's got he actually uses the money he makes for his family and stuff. So he needed some new equipment. So we help. I know we got him a Mini Go XLR, and we got him. I don't remember what else we got him. He got the mic himself, didn't he, or did we get the mic? I can't remember.
I think we funded the mic, but we said you get it. You get what you want. Here's the.
So
here's the amount. So,
anyway, regardless, that's
yeah.
a little bit of example of what we do with our money. It's not like we go out and Algared drinks like shitloads of Evercracker and bourbon, and I get completely wasted on drugs. It doesn't work that way. It's definitely a lot more share it all around. And
X doesn't even enjoy view with girls, right?
No, I might be into the
What
boys. You
can I
never
say?
know. Woo! No, just kidding. But anyway. Right, back to the questions. I just want to talk about that. So again, I should probably link that giveaway. I just realized I didn't.
Yep.
In my distracted state. Sorry, give me a second.
So, Mom, I'll let you finish linking it.
No, it's okay. I can do that at the same time.
So,
hang on. I can also.
Mama Mossett 3880 has a question.
Yeah, please.
Their question was, what about the AMX1 repair bot? That was one of the backer awards back in 2013. Will we have bots to do engineering?
What was it? A repair bot? I'm assuming that is equivalent to like a repair drone these days. We'll have to kind of wait and see what it is.
I'm assuming it's a drone.
Yeah, we need a big, to be totally honest with you, we need kind of a big fundamental update from CIG on drones in general. It's been a while. It's been a while, and there's a lot that hooks into it. I think we'll get that with base building, which is supposedly going to be the first appearance of drones again in the game. But yeah, I do think just a fundamental, like, what is CIG's, like, thinking when it comes to drones? Like, what are their capabilities going to be? What are their limitations going to be? All that kind of stuff.
And we also know that they avoid doing the AI stuff. Like the EU hates AI. AI is anathema because it keeps causing tragedies. You look over the history. So, and I know that, that when they talk AI, they're not talking the plug it in, leave it, let it go, let it do its own thing, let it repair everything. It's the bots are all controlled and have our input type stuff because they don't want to trust that the automatic firing is going to work. They don't want to trust that the PDCs are going to stop everything. Wolf Blitzer, no, we're not getting an R2D2. It was a backer award back in 2013 for people who were backers before a certain funding level. So the really early backers have the have that bot, but I expect there'll be another version of a bot that's available to everyone. And as we were just saying, I think it's going to be more of a regular bot, remote control bot would be probably where I'd put it. But
probably some kind of little bot you just deploy. And you deploy it in your hangar, and whatever ships are in there, it'll just go around and repair them as long as it's got the material to do so. I think it was something really simple like that.
As long as you've got the suppliers to repair it, something like that. But we don't know.
No. Again, there's so many things from the stretch goals. Like, we're meant to have pets. People have talked about that for years. Like, how long do you reckon it's going to be for? Like, think of the priority of all the shit that's got to happen. Pets are just like so far back. Like, especially like and if they just follow you around, like, does that just literally mean they like
I hate pets like that.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather they kind of like navigate within your area, so they actually do have an AI. And like, would a dog operate different to how like an alien pet would operate? And what happens if they fly and they land on certain things, and then when they're around other pets, how they, oh shit, he's trying to eat me, and I'm like a bird pet, so he's like, do you know what I mean? They get into little fights and shit. I reckon it'd be funny as that sounds a lot more like Star Citizen to me than say something like the World of Warcraft pets or something.
And it's a good example too of like how the data mining can be read wrong sometimes. For example, it wasn't that long ago that we had collars mentioned in the data mining, and the collar information referred to sort of like pet control. But what it turns out that was just sort of a naming convention for some of those copian to be synced up to hostiles in an area, so we could fight them. Now, it doesn't mean that won't eventually convert itself into player controllable pets, but I remember when we first saw that there's collars, oh man, we're getting pets, they're coming, next patch. It's just an easy way to read the data wrong. So
I
well, we
think
get pets, eventually, because it's a backer goal way back in 2015 or just before they stopped doing them. But
seeing what CRFG have done, I wouldn't expect that almost everything you've seen in every MMO that we get eventually. So pets, rideable mounts that are animals, not just bikes and stuff. Especially like I can see that all being a part of big game hunting and a part of the food and organics type stuff, and you can see how it'll feed into science and cooking and all that type of shit. So there is an absolute need for it to expand out those gameplays, and it will be really interesting. And also a massive version is tech levels, because if you're on an animal, how the hell do you take an animal out? Or it's easier to see as a life sign, but if you're trying to detect electronic stuff, you're not going to find anything. So pretty self-explanatory. All right, next question, Algared.
Next question. Get that one. Scrolling down. All right, Peoplebot has another 42 question. No, that's already been done. Done.
You've passed the first section, so scroll down. You're down to Nova 42. It says, has there been an update to the Liberator? We did that one already.
Because we've already done that. That's a repeat that's picked up by Peoplebot for that. So I'm going down looking for those. That one's been done. Hello, Execute. This is from Donnie. Hello, Execute, Algared and Grim. How are you keeping? Recovered from IAE?
No. Yeah.
Execute is still recovering.
How do you end?
What about you, Grim?
How do you ended it?
I didn't go as hard as you guys. So I paced myself.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But it was, I'll say this, is I really only focused on RSI and Drake Day and then afterwards, but it was a busy IAE for sure. I mean, it was, and I guess we've had this the last IAE or two where it's like every other day there is something to cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Trying to put that link in Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Execute, not already on that.
I will. Give me 2 seconds. I've already done it into Twitch. I already did it into Twitch.
Yep.
You mean into YouTube? There you go. It's back into YouTube. So it's in both.
Oh, sorry. Yes, into YouTube.
Yep.
So we had a first-time chat asking how to enter the competition or how to enter the giveaway.
Yep.
The link is down there as a reply to them. And it's just go to our Discord, go to the giveaway and put in your details, and pretty much that's it.
There you go.
So, yeah. If you haven't joined the channel, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah.
Until I'm out of practice, I'm
Ryan,
do so much stuff live today. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I know. So Ryan Rera, 1982, Taurus versus Starlancer Max for in-game purchase, space combat, pirating, cargo, and all around.
Was it 192 versus? I don't remember what it is on the Max off the top of my head.
Lots.
Yeah, I have to look it up.
My gut says you go for Taurus.
That's where mine is too, because of the tractor beam.
Yeah,
but I
tractor beam, which makes loading and offloading really
Starlancer Max is 224 SCU.
So you're literally talking like a difference of less than around 30. It's isn't it 192 or something, 196 or something like that for the other one? Top of my head.
Max is 224. I said, but I think that was the.
Taurus is 174. 174. So it's actually almost 50 SCU difference. But again, you're talking literally a whole size up for the Starlancer Max. I think the Taurus makes a far better use of its cargo space. Plus, you've got the smuggling area.
You've got the small shielded cargo area at the back, which is where the on the other Connie's the P52 or 72 is docked. It's a cargo area everyone knows about, but it's shielded. You can't see what's in there, so that's a bonus. You were going to say something, Grim?
No, yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if cargo is your thing, for sure. They both can carry a vehicle. They both can carry a decent amount of cargo. They both, they kind of sit in this same gameplay category. I would imagine, I could be wrong here, but I would imagine that the Taurus is maybe a little bit more potent when it comes to armament. But again, I don't keep up with the weapon stats as much as most people. And probably a little cheaper with in-game credits, if I'm not mistaken. Smaller ship.
I don't remember the final like it was 220 for the Starlancer Max at hang on, what is it now? Pledge is 250, and I believe it's like 200 for the Taurus. So there is a
I was even referring just to in-game credits. I think they said they were buying it in-game, right? I would imagine that would correlate to.
Did not say that. 200 versus 250.
Didn't mention where they were buying it.
Yeah, look for the money. I like real world money. I just can't look past the Taurus.
I don't know what the Starlancer Max is in game, but the Constellation Taurus is, I think, 7.5.
You guys will know I'm not a big fan of how the Starlancer turned out. I think it was rushed because they did it in amongst all those onboarding things, and clearly it didn't have as many eyes on it as it needed, in my personal opinion. It's got a lot of wasted space, especially the max version with the double beds and stuff like that. They're just all superfluous. I'll leave it to you guys because I've talked about it till the cows come home. But I think the Taurus is an older ship too, obviously, so it's not in the best state either. But I think if you look at between the two, they're probably both going to get a rework, gold passes at some point. But I think you're probably going to see more of a benefit in the Taurus getting one than in this. But
yeah.
Well, the things they said about the Aurora getting a Mach 2, that to me is scary, because I think it also has a hint to what might happen to the Constellation when they come around to fix it up.
It's already got marks, isn't it? So what is it, up to Mark 6 on the Phoenix, or Mark 5 or something
Mark
like
6
that?
or Mark 5 or
so they'll
like
just add another Mark 7 or 8.
Yeah. But in the past, when we started, we had Mark 3s.
Yeah.
We had the original model we had, the 10-inch model.
Yep.
Doesn't have P-52s at the back because they were stored in the cargo bay or the hangar.
Yeah.
And since then we've had the changes, but they just updated everyone's accounts and said, "Yep, you've actually got a Connie Mark 5, not a Connie Mark 3." But my fear is when they do the Aurora rework and they do a Mark 2, because they've kind of hinted the Mark 1s would be raised up to gold standard and a Mark 2 will come out. That says they're going to sell Mark 2s. And my worry is when they do a Connie update, will they do, now the Connie Mark 5s are still there, but Connie Mark 6 is a new version that you can buy. And that kind of still doesn't feel right when the game's not fully out yet. But that's just me.
Yeah. I personally think with the Connies that they're going to just get a proper pass, and the only reason I'm thinking that is that there's quite a few variants, and it's a decently sized ship. We haven't seen them do a Mark II of a ship that large. Not to say that they won't, but a Mark II push on the Constellation series I think would be a pretty big undertaking. Again, not that they couldn't do it, but it's a much more substantial undertaking than even something like like the Aurora Mark II or Hornets Mark II, because the Zeus Mark IIs aren't really Mark IIs in that they're just a new ship. So I would be surprised if they did that, especially when there are some RSI kit pieces that can be brought into the ship that, even in just bringing some of those kit pieces over, I think could make the Constellation as is a really attractive ship with just some interior changes, a few quality of life changes.
Real quick, Vio Bloke just there says, love the content and giveaway. Do I have to be here? I'm seeing a movie in 30 minutes. No, you don't have to be here, but if you're not here, you won't get the Shadowfall paint for the Paladin. You'll just get the Paladin. And in the way that I've got it right now, I'm going to give it to the person in if I can, in pieces. So essentially, it'll come as a shiv from CIG, and then I brought multiple chain CCUs up until the Paladin. And as long as I didn't buy one with credit, if I brought one with credit, then I'm just gonna have to attach them all and give you the Paladin. But if you're here for the draw as well, that's what we like to do, is we'll give you a skin. And I've got a Shadowfall one sitting there ready to give you. So yeah. Latasso Trio says it's in my buybacks. How much is it in your buybacks though? Because now it's in your buybacks, it won't be $25 anymore. It'll be like $75. So I might as well just wait to AIE if that's the case. But anyway, but yeah, I'm just trying to get a cheap one because I was trying to avoid. I had CCUs everywhere else except in that one little place.
I'll do some asking around too.
Yeah,
it's an endeavor to bring the price down. We can.
Yeah, 75. So, don't worry about it. But thank you all the same. I'm looking for someone that's got one that had one there, and they're happy to kind of give it up because they can wait to the next time it comes around. Because let's be honest, it's almost there every single Alien week. So yeah, that's what I'll just wait to Alien week next year. And do it then. It's not a biggie. But would have been nice to give away sooner rather than later.
Hook to 2005 says depends whether the movie what movie. If it's a crap movie, you have to be here apparently. So
yeah, what movie are you going to see? Void Blight, VO Blight. What are you going to see? I'm curious now. Yeah, this is interesting. Right. Next question, Algared, if you've got another one for us.
Yep. Now going back to just a little bit on the connies, probably one connie that could. And I could see them doing a rework and a second version of is probably the Phoenix, because the Phoenix just doesn't feel good enough. It feels bits of it look good, but chunks of it don't. So that would be one that could get a rework and do a mark, but it'd be a bit more blown up. But yeah, Barsad 14.4 says. How will engineering affect the role of repair ships like the Vulcan and Crucible?
I think that's still a little ways to be seen. They are like again, you can go back and look at the original documentation from all the way back when. It's always been the plan. They always wanted to have an engineer that basically, when a larger ship is under attack, it extends their life before they kind of, I guess the term now is soft death. And we're seeing that they can bring things back to life, spare parts, things like that. Yeah. It's going to be a balancing act, like anything, trying to get those timings right. But you can already see, I think you talked about a really good one yesterday on your stream, Grim, was the one with Subliminal, where he had that problem go wrong. You could already see the tension in the combat. Now all of a sudden there's a tension on the other side, and there's a guy doing the engineering trying to get shit. I'm trying to make it work, Captain. I can't get it to work. And you can see the panic between everyone. If you stay calm, you might get it sorted. But if you panic, it's all going to go to shit. Yeah.
There was this great moment in that video Subliminal posted where he's like, "Oh, gotta fix the ship," and he was just in part of the ship, and then he got out of his seat, went to a door, the door opened, and it would the entire room that you couldn't see beforehand was engulfed in flames, and it was just like this moment of like, "Oh God," So it was really
gosh,
cool.
No wonder everything's falling apart.
I could see a really good skit with Algared where he's like, "Oh, well, they got the fire out." And he turns around and the whole room is still on fire. And then you pan back and see Algared and his whole back's on fire as well. Like Hook 2005, thank you for the 10 gifted subs to Cuba Trooper.
Yeah, amazing.
Born Groma, Comified, Mal Lux 75, Dibley 83, Oz Veteran, Leto Drifter, Daz 69, Bastion, and Yemi Beck. Make sure you all say thank you to Hook 2005 for your subs. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Most appreciated. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, so moving on with questions.
He's going. Vio Blight said he's going to see the Jujutsu Kaisen anime movie. Haven't heard of that one, so I hope you enjoy it though. But yeah. All right, sorry, go ahead.
It's an anime movie, so it's going to appeal to those people who love those.
Apparently, been going pretty well in the States lately. Some people have they've started showing them in cinemas there, so that that a worrying trend for you, Grim? I know you do a bit of movie stuff, but like, how do you see Hollywood going at the moment? Is it good or bad, or?
It's in there's a lot of the entertainment industry, especially on the feature film side, which I've worked in for quite a bit, quite a few years. It's always in a state of chaos in America. Companies are around and they go bankrupt. It's just a really chaotic, turbulent industry to be on. Yeah, especially on the post-production side of it, for sure. It's very, we just had major layoffs just recently, and now Netflix, they're in talks to buy Warner Brothers. So Netflix will probably own HBO. Warner Brothers are going to own properties like Batman and DC and stuff. So it's going to be pretty disruptive.
Apparently the Saudis are talking about doing that as well. And
they were talking about it, but it looks like Netflix, it looks like that deal is going to close. So Netflix is going to go essentially immediately to being the top dog in Hollywood. So, whenever things like that happen, it just creates a lot of industry chaos.
Very scary for me, because well, I'll ask you this, Grim, right? We've talked about movies and stuff here before, but you are someone that kind of works more in the industries. I've had this thing for the last 10 years where I think they're just getting shitter, and I think it's been caused by streaming. Because when you used to have the TV, right, you were buying for people's time. They had to turn up on time when you were going to play your ads to watch this show. So they were all fighting to get your time, so like Sunday night was the big thing because everyone was free on Sunday night. So that's when you all turn up. Now you sit down and you watch the show whenever you want, 2 a.m., 5 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, whatever day you want. It's not the same fighting demand. They've just got to have one show for that entire month that hooks you as a person. And so, like one for the men, one for the guys, one for the kids.
Yeah.
And that's all you really kind of need to get most of the audience, because only one person in the family's got to pay for that subscription to get the subscription for that month. So they don't have to hook you all the time like they used to. It's very rare now. So the ball's really in their court. Is that a part of the reason? Well, streaming. Has streaming caused the decline of the quality?
It's been huge. It's weird. It's declined quality in certain areas and helped things in other areas. But again, it's just been very disruptive. I think it's the reason a lot of modern movies are kind of crap. And if you knew my movie watching habits, you'll know that I rarely watch anything made from 2000 onward. I watch a lot of old stuff. But part of the reason is that, and even movies I work on, I a lot of times don't actually watch. The reason, though, has a lot to do with like how movies are written now, how they're, how the stories are actually, created and stuff. I actually listened to a speaker recently in the film industry who talked about how modern scripts are written with people and their devices in mind. They know you're going to have your device in hand, browsing and doom scrolling while you're watching the movie. So that's why movie scripts have gotten to where they just start beating you over the head and giving you all the story plot points so obviously.
When's the last time you watched a movie yourself with a phone? I've never watched a movie with a phone.
No.
Yeah, but it's something they do. It is something they do. Yeah.
There's
a lot of reasons, though. It's a rough industry.
Because that's what they would do, so they think everyone would do it. That's the other thing. This small-mindedness where people think, "Oh, I do this, so therefore everyone must do that." No, you got to get outside your bubble. Yeah. If that's the case.
And I could say this is a last thing. In the movie industry, we have I teach a lot at colleges too, and a lot of the students that go into post-production, they all want to work in movies. That's what everyone wants to do. I want to work on the big Hollywood movies, but one of the big shocking things I tell them right off the bat is that's not where the money's at. The money's actually in commercials, actual commercial work through ad agencies, car commercials and this and that and the other. So to get post-production visual effects artists in the mindset of like, hey, you want to be successful, you want to make a lot of money, you need to go into commercial work is always a bit of a trip for them because, again, the film industry is just chaotic. So
it's kind of the same type of thing you were talking about, like, commercials, you're still competing for people's time.
Yeah.
So if you do a really good commercial, people will watch it.
Yeah.
Like I saw something recently about the Mayhem guy for the farmers insurance in the States, you know, and his character was just one that people like seeing the story of this guy doing what mayhem was he getting up to that needed his insurance or stuff, or the gecko from the other ad, you know, or the.
I think you boys would both be old enough to remember how funny commercials used to be. There was literally a show here in Australia. Do you remember that? Algared, Australia's funniest commercials or whatever like that? And there was a series where they would just show different funny ads from around the world. And now you just don't see comedy anymore. Like the only movie I've seen that was a comedy movie in the last while was they had that remake of The Naked Gun, and it flopped because people just didn't go to see it. They just kind of go, I don't know why. I actually don't know why it failed.
Yep.
Like we just don't see comedy movies anymore, and it's a real shame. I want comedy to make a comeback, but I think it's going to take a while. Yeah, I don't know. I just sort of ask, like, is that a bit weird that we don't see comedy anymore? Like, do you have many comedy things at all come anywhere near what you do?
Comedy's the hardest. Comedy is the hardest thing to write. It's hard to find writers who write comedy. You know, and anyone in the industry will tell you, comedy is the hardest to do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, because comedy's opinion, you see. Like when I was a comedian, really simple thing to understand that most people get. If I went to an old folks' home, the jokes will be very different to what I'd say to biker bar. Right. And you can't always tell the audience you're going to walk into, but you can, like if you walk into a crowd of say 5,000 people, you can safely assume most of them are going to be adults. And based on the time of night, say it's 8 p.m., you know, well, most kids are going to be in bed. Right. So, and you know what adults are like. So you want a few sex jokes in there. Like all adults love a good sex joke. I don't know why. We just all do. And then a few other awkward jokes in there. And awkward, I'll tell you that right now. If you want to be funny, be awkward. And self-deprecating is another one. You can't always make fun of the audience, but you can make fun of yourself. And it goes a long way with people because it humanizes you, you know, obviously. So yeah. All right, Algared. Another question.
All right. So, I did see a couple of questions in stream. I'm not sure if they've come up, but hopefully they do. If not, I'll try and remember them. But D283W just makes me think of WD-40. I don't know why. Had a question. They said, if components are going to wear out and require replacement or maintenance or other stuff, will CIG give us the blueprints for any components that cannot be brought? For instance, the VK00, which comes stock with the Alpha Wolf. So I would imagine those components, if they're more bespoke to a ship, when you build the ship, you'd have a component to build that. But I hope everything will be already built.
That's a really interesting question. How do you get it comes with stock components, but like are some people just going to reclaim the whole ship because it's cheaper because you can't get some of those components back? That's a really interesting question. I'd have to assume at some point, I think I like what he said about blueprints. I think that's probably the way it would go. You have to recreate him yourself.
And that will incentivize that level of insurance that they talked about that does give back your components and the things in your ship that were specific. So obviously things like that would incentivize insurance plans like that.
I personally would prefer to have a blueprint for the VK00 and build it myself with the top grade components, because we already know that stuff you build, that players build with the best mats or best materials is going to be better than anything you can get in game.
The little problem with that, though, Algared, is then you can build it for other ships too. That's the problem. So I'm trying to kind of get my brain around it. How would you do that? But again, there's always the cost, right? So the cost is not the blueprint. The cost is building it, right? So just getting access to it is
the time, the mats, the materials. You know, if you want to build that VK00 with the top grade material, you've got to get the material, refine the material, whatever you need to do to get it to that level, and then use that material to build your part. And it all depends on how much time you've got.
That was something else Grim and I we kind of touched on really briefly yesterday, didn't we, Grim, with what's it going to be like when the difference between, say, a level 1 ship and a level 5. is it just going to be all these stats buffs? Like we started thinking about things like because we're talking about fire at the time, and I said, does that mean like a level 1 origin ship doesn't have a fire suppression, but maybe a level 5 has an automated fire suppression that just goes off and puts everything out and stuff like that?
Yeah. Or perhaps some of those material attributes they're just more fire resistant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they take longer to burn, or maybe have a higher ignite temperature. You know what I mean?
And
inherently to them.
And that's just in one area, Algared. So you start to think very quickly, what are all these other areas can you start to bring in those differences? And I can tell you right now, I would struggle, as in to compartmentalize what you could do there. It's quite a lot.
Even just thinking of components, I could see as you go up in level that they become more resilient or more.
I don't know
to X, Y, and
they
Z,
actually
and I still don't know how you do that.
I don't think they've talked about levels of components. I know they've talked about making them out of different materials, but I meant specifically the ships.
Yeah, but even with the ship, you're still looking at resilience of a ship. But if you're getting blueprints, I would say the same, moving across to the components. But we don't know yet. But as you said, they haven't said that's what's going to happen with components.
Bit vague at the moment, yeah.
And this idea, of different manufacturer components, for example, being, some being better than others. I hope there's more nuance to it than that. So, for example, a Drake ship, quote unquote, a Drake ship probably isn't as durable as an anvil ship, meaning you're going to have to repair it more often. But I also hope it's easier to repair than an anvil ship, because I picture it to be like an old junker pickup truck that you can repair with a couple tools in the back seat, you know what I mean, versus something that's super high tech. So I hope there's a lot of nuance to how they approach that.
I would imagine that even part of it is a Drake ship or a Gray's Market ship. You can use low-grade materials to repair it. Whereas, say, an Origin ship, you need to use, level to, almost the top level or the next tier down or whatever it is to get the same repair, because the components that are needed or materials they use are high grade. So you've got to use high grade materials to repair it. Whereas low quality ships, gaffer tape will do the job.
So we've got about 49 minutes and 30 seconds left on that giveaway. So if you want to get in, I've dropped the link again in chat, and we'll have to take that person's name with the other guy that won yesterday and do a spin on the wheel. And if you're here when we give it away, you can get a Shadowfall to go with your Paladin. So I just wanted to pimp that again, because again, we've only got 50 minutes left. I'll pimp it a couple of more times as we wind down towards 1 p.m. here. So it's about 50 minutes time from now. Right. Sorry about that.
Anyway, WD-40, that's a good question. And I think, as we've said, it's one we've just got to wait for. As engineering comes on, and we've said it once or twice, it really is tier 0. And
be right back in 1 minute, guys.
No problem. I can do this.
Citizen Ninja had a question. See, when you're returning, Grim. Citizen Ninja had a question. Assuming the highly anticipated 2026 Origin ship release is more than the G12 series.
Wait. Highly anticipated?
Well, for Citizen Ninja.
Who says the fuck it's highly anticipated?
Well, all new ships are highly anticipated.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give you that.
All right. So, and he's just focusing on that one. And so given that we know there is an Origin ship coming in 2026, like with everyone else, because they kind of hinted at that, is this more than the G12 series, but not a large ship? What type of Origin ship do you think we might see next year?
Well, it didn't say anything about,
or a variant of existing ones.
It didn't say anything about the size. It didn't say anything about being a variant. It literally, they gave us a manufacturer. So yes, you are correct. It could just be a G12. I would hope it's not, because I'm going to be honest, I think that's a bit of a troll. And again, me and Grim went through this on his stream yesterday, and there was only 2 manufacturers that we couldn't think of something from, and that was Argo, because that could be the orange salvager. It could not.
Yep.
And the other one, I wish Grim was here. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I think it was Aegis was the only other one. And because again, there was nothing we could track it back to. But again, the only place I could kind of think of there was maybe a Hammerhead variant, because they talked about working on the Hammerhead. That's all I could talk about. But everything else, we already knew that there was a ship coming from them anyway. So like they said Gatak, well, that means it's the Raelian. You know, and we went through all the stuff that they'd already talked about that's coming. So all the manufacturers they mentioned were just null and void, because we already knew this shit was coming. So again, as I said, Agents and Argo were the only two. But when Grim gets back, maybe we can talk about that a little bit more, because he added thing.
I could even see, given the that matrix of where the manufacturers sat in stuff, I could see them doing a shop ship for Origin.
I think they're definitely going to do one, but do you honestly think we're getting shops next year? Do you think it's
well,
that's
who
my
knows?
point.
But we just know there's a ship coming, and since we've gone away from concept ships and they only bring them out when the game plays in, it kind of limits them. But I do think,
look, if I seriously sit here and think about it realistically as an Origin ship, the 400i. Now, you know as well as I do, I stands for modularity.
Yep.
That would be my
Origin ships.
Yeah, that would be my number one pick, a variant of the 400i, if it's not just the G12s, because they've been doing a lot of variants, and they know the 400i was very well received, and to obviously go out and actually make a variant.
Yep.
Wouldn't be that much work. And again, they've got the modular system back in, so it's just going back to that. They probably went, all right, we're going to work on modularity eventually. We'll just bring out the 400i and come back to it when we've got the modules. And it would allow them to onboard a bunch of people, because it's a little bit of a larger ship.
Well, based on the fact that the 400i is effectively a 415p, because it's the Explorer variant, what would you see what variant do you think they'd do?
God, well, look at them, what they can do. You know what I mean? As in, like, I would have said a shop ship would be a really good one for that. You're right, to kind of go outside.
Aren't in yet, but
but again, like Explorer is kind of what the default kind of is. So
you're not doing a 415p. So
again, look, what's the standard affair been? Explorer and Touring. That's kind of it, and then combat, like so a 425A or something like that. I just don't think that would be the best combat ship personally. But I could still see it.
But I don't see a cargo variant adding much more cargo, because
there is a little bit of a thing there though. The 400i is currently the only ship in the game that does have that temperature controlled area. So if you took that and expanded it, and so therefore that whole bottom cargo area turns into like a climate controlled smuggling area, that could be a thing. So you lose all your you lose all your you lose all your area downstairs, but you gain that. Question, Grim, you can talk about this too. Basically what we think that the ship from Origin could be next year. And also you and I talked about this on your stream, and I was trying to remember, it was Argo and Aegis were the last two, wasn't it, that we couldn't figure out shit for out of all the manufacturers from memory?
Yes. Yep. Argo and Aegis. Yep.
So
and Origin, I feel like G12 probably.
But if it's not a G12, I suggested knowing the 400i, I stands for modularity from Origin. Could you finally see them coming back to the 400i and going, right, well, now we've got modularity, let's make our first module for the 400i. That's kind of where my brain kind of goes. And then that's
the question was, but now the question was based on the fact that 400i is basically the 415p, because it's the exploration version. What form do you think that variant would be? Would it be the sea, the cargo? Would it be the...
Yeah, it's that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that yet. I almost wonder at this point if they wouldn't make maybe more of a generalist version of the 400i that does come equipped with some either crafting or medical or something like that. I don't know. I almost wonder if there's a greater chance that the quote unquote, I mean, I maybe they said new ship. I don't know. Maybe there's some clarification on that. But another thing I was thinking is maybe they're going to do a pass on like the 300 series or something.
They didn't say anything about new or old, a ship or vehicle or anything like that. They just said
there's part of me that wonders then if the 300 couldn't get the 300 series couldn't get just a pass to bring it up.
They have their own contradiction of their law too, because I is meant to stand for modules. So you get the 600i, you get the touring and the exploration. But why is there a 300i but it doesn't have any modules? So again, when people are saying things like the 415p, it wouldn't be a 415p, it would be a 400i module. And again, they break their own rules. So maybe they could make a 415p, so to speak, but they, again, this is the problem with their own law, is they keep breaking it. And at some point it's got to mean a little bit, and you got to pick a lane, and then whichever one you pick, you've got to redo the other one. So again, maybe they call it a 300X or something like that, and that just basically means it's the base variant and it doesn't have modules. But that's how I would fix it. I'd rename rename the 300i to something else, like a 300X or something. Sorry, Algared.
And I suppose also, I suppose also if you look at it, the smaller ships get the variants. So the 100, the 200, the 300, they get the kind of the variants. Whereas the 400, 600, 890, they get the modules. So who knows? CIG can do what they like.
And Algared brought up shop ships, which I think is an eventuality too for Origin, but I just don't see it quite next year. Maybe not. If it is, it'll be late next year, after base building's kind of in, because the room system is in. So maybe. But I still think that's probably the year after, at least. But the only other one I can think of for the 400i specifically is that climate-controlled cargo area. A lot of the modules that we see for things is they essentially take what the ships does and expand it. So I think Carrack, like for example, with Carrack, I am highly expecting like an explorer module, a medical module, and a repair module, because that's what the ship already does. And we've seen this in other ships as well. They take what it does and just expand it. So again, you look at what the 400i does. Well, it's essentially exploring and some limited climate controlled cargo. So an explorer module and a climate controlled cargo room, where you give up that lift part on the bottom and it just becomes a cargo lift, and it's all climate controlled and sealed off. Makes a lot of sense to me.
I personally, in regards to the Carrack, I've been thinking about that ship more and more again too, and I almost wish now that the Carrack's 3 separated cargo bay, sort of modular cargo pods or whatever. I almost wish it was one large cargo pod that could be switched out modularly with other large modules. Yeah.
Interesting you say that, because when the ballistas came out, John Crew did say you would be able to put a ballista in the cargo pods if they were a single unit. But he did say, we're not saying we're going to do it, but it was on the card, so it's something they clearly have thought about, I think, doing a single pod.
I think that ship specifically, because it's so far out and away from other ships, I think it really does need the 3 modules. I actually think the ability to have like a cargo one, that you can take a vehicle in it or extra supplies, and then one that, so again, think about it, you're doing the Star Trek thing, and we're on a humanitarian mission, and we've got to fix a virus, so you'll take cargo and then maybe 2 medical modules, and you can drop them off like little medical bunkers to help solve the plague or whatever. I can totally see that being something that you lean into, like, so you're going out really far, but you take what you need with you as you go. And so that's one of those few ships that I can see it actually needing multiple modules in its reasoning.
The other thing that they did talk about years ago with the Carrack was the types of modules that you would get. So they did talk about medical, they did talk about extra rooms, they did talk about extra, the cargo, the medical, the science, and rooms. But and when people talked about that originally, people said, "Oh, that's how they'll do the cartography room. That's how they'll do the med bay. That's how they'll do," And I'm glad they didn't just put those things as options for the modules and actually put them in the ship.
Right.
But I think they're the types of things you could do. Like I was saying, you add those extra modules on to expand what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Maybe a drone module so you can increase your drones and other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I could see it getting modules to extend its life, or extend its, usability out on the frontier for sure, even with our limited system count for 1.0. But yeah, I mean, again, it all goes back to that discussion that I know we've all had at various times, which is, in the future, when the Carrack gets all of its gameplay, it's going to be one of the most well-rounded ships out there.
I think the other thing I'm going to say for your benefit, Graham, is you come into a system and it's like essentially a disk with all the planets, right?
Yeah.
But the thing you're forgetting is there's all this empty space up here, and there's all this empty space down here, and also there's all this empty space right out and around beyond the planets. And
yeah, absolutely.
I always think of what's that planet? The starts with K, Algared. Is it Kestra or something like that?
Kellogg?
The Kellogg, that's the one. And they literally talk about it. It's such a big system that a Carrack has not been able to map the whole thing yet.
Oh wow!
They've kind of done surface scans.
Yeah.
And
So when you go exploring in a Carrack, it's not just like going to system. It is literally going into the black where nobody else goes. You got to remember, we're eventually going to be able to just warp and go at speed. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're just going to essentially, the Endeavor, you can see the chain. It's really simple. The Endeavor's going to find something with its big telescopy thing. It's going to be the Astronomer. And then it's
something that's interesting.
Yeah. And then the Carrack's going to go to it. The Carrack might find, say, a jump point or whatever it finds. And let's say it finds a planet. And then it's going to essentially scan it, and it doesn't have the cartography scanners for surface scanning, but it's going to find enough that it can basically goes, oh, there's a shit ton of copper here. So then it's going to send along the Odyssey, and the Odyssey is going to go with its cartography table thing that's in the
and do more
bridge,
of that.
And it's going to do a lot of surface stuff. That's what's got massive VTOLs and its scanner and miner and all that. Its scanner is literally on the bottom. Like, how the Terrapins is on the top? It's got one on the bottom. It tells you it's going surface scanning.
It's scanning down.
And so it's going to find all these land masses, and it's going to, it uses that mining laser like a core driller. You know how they go down to Antarctica and they drill the cores and go, this is where the dinosaurs died and blah, blah, blah. But it's also going to find materials, like it's going to go, well, we took this core sample and we found 5% copper, blah, 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 and all this. And so when you go sell that to someone, you go, look, this is what these are the core samples we took. This is what you're going to expect to find on your land plot. Do you want to buy this land plot? And if you find one that goes 98% copper, ding, 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 and then you put down a land claim, it's essentially a glorified real estate agent. That's what the Odyssey will be. And all the little ones underneath that, they will do, I'm sure we'll get another surveyor that's a smaller version, but obviously it's going to take a lot longer to do the planet. I'm sure we'll already see ones like that do the Caterpillar, the Carrack as well, but they just won't be as efficient. And then you get ones like the Terrapin. The Terrapin, you can tell, is going to be a generalist because it's got the multiple scanners on it. So it's going to go out, again, like you customize the modules on the Carrack, you'll customize the scanner you're doing, and it's a military one, just like the Carrack. Am I going out to help with combat today? Am I going out to do mining or salvage? And they will determine the scanners you put on your Terrapin. So you can see they all have a place. They don't they tread on each other, but they've all got a niche too that speaks just to them.
Yeah. No, indeed. Going back to the Carrack question, or the Carrack, one of the questions earlier on, but I was hoping would show up or I'd see it and then we'd come back to it, was, did I make the right choice? And I can't remember who said it, I'm sorry, but did I make the right choice upgrading my Carrack to an Odyssey for making cash? I'm not sure you made the right choice in making cash.
I
depends on what you want to do in terms of exploration, but
I think you will make a lot more cash with the Odyssey personally, because it'll be, if you find that jackpot, you're going to make a big thing. I think the Carrack is a little bit more like where no man's gone before it, so it's more for fun. I just get the feeling the Odyssey is going to be for cash. Real quick, I did forget a subscription on Twitch for Father and Son Gaming. Thank you for the 3 months. I apologize for that. I went off the screen.
The other thing with that is, also, if you're looking at cash value, not for doing it in game, but cash value if you're buying it outside a game with real world money, even though the Carrack is cheaper than the Odyssey, because the Odyssey is so much bigger, the Carrack does come with the Pisces and an Ursa. So when you buy a carrot, you actually get they're not. You don't see them listed in the pack, but when you go to your hangar, you've got a Pisces and an Ursa there.
But
in the hangar.
Yeah.
But the Odyssey is also not out yet, so it's going to increase in price.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you got to remember also, if you take the earn down economy too, the Odyssey is a capital, the Carrack is a large. So you would have to assume that it's going to cost more to run an Odyssey, but you're also going to make more money with an Odyssey. So yeah, sorry, Grim.
Yeah, that's what I was. You actually took the words right out of my mouth.
That's my job.
To me,
it's my job.
Exactly. To me, I look at the two ships as two parts of a stepping stone. Yeah. I look at the Carrack is here, and then the Odyssey is the ship you then move to. After the Carrack. It's not like there's such a huge gulf between them. Like, it's not the difference between, for example, going from a Caterpillar to an Ironclad if you're doing cargo. It's a smaller jump, and the Carrack has things that the Odyssey doesn't, and the Odyssey has things that the Carrack doesn't. But the ship has a bigger uplift to it. And what I mean by uplift, meaning it's probably going to cost a little bit more to run. It's probably going to have a slightly higher crew count than the Carrack. As Execute said, it's 150 or 145 meters long. So you're starting to get close to Polaris size now. It's just a big ship, bigger hangars, bigger support, just all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and even the fact that that's like even the flow of a ship from the hangar to the cargo bay to the outside, because they flow and you can actually drive a vehicle from hangar to the cargo bay out. That actually gives the ship a lot more versatility, I think, in many ways as well. So it is one of those tough questions, I think. And because the roles are similar but different, there is crossover. Could you use your Odyssey to go deep space exploration? Yeah. Could you use your Carrack to do surface scanning? Yeah, but they're not going to be as good as those roles as they are in the home turf, if that makes sense. So
here we go. So you got 140 meters on the Odyssey, and you've got 126 and a half on the Carrack. They are not that dissimilar in size, but the thing is, as soon as you go over 128, it literally jumps. The pad size. And as soon as you do that, that makes this a capital.
And well, even just pushing that point, if you got them up, the hangar size on the Odyssey is big enough for a size, a fighter.
Yeah, significantly bigger. Yeah.
It's only got the
whereas
Pisces.
The Carrack is just a Pisces, basically. So,
I just want to double check. Capital sized highly. I just want to check the components because that literally tells you straight away. If we've got it, no, it doesn't tell us anything. Nothing. Medium capital cooler. There you go. No, it's got a capital cooler, so it is a capital. As soon as you have a single capital component, it is a capital. It's like the Reclaimer.
The second one down there as well.
Oh, really? Capital power plant. Yep, capital power plant.
And shield generator size 4 as well.
Yeah, there you go. But one of these will be bespoke. That's the other big thing for capitals. So the Origin people will be able to tell you the 890 jump comes with capital engines that go down either side of that engine room. The Reclaimer being a capital, it has that kind of mini Idris power plant. The Idris has a mini power plant as well. The Polaris has that kind of full power plant or engine. So again, you'll start to see those go through. It'll be the same thing when we see the Bengal in game, the Javelin in game. What's the one in the Javelin, Algared? Do you know off the top of your head?
No,
the bespoke one. I'd assume it'd have to be being Aegis. It's probably just the power plant, like the others. But I could be wrong. But yeah, so what that allows them to do is they can, because it's bespoke, they can essentially tweak it as they need to balance that said ship. That's why they've done that, but also it just adds that little bit of extra flavor for the capitals to have above others. So it really comes down to getting back to what you're kind of saying, Grim, is what is that cost difference between these two in game, and what does that translate to? How long does it take me to go from a Carrack to earn up to an Odyssey, and is it worth that extra $60 and buy this and go backwards? And I would say at the moment it is.
And at the moment, it probably is worth it, just because of the fact that the Odyssey is going to go up in price when it comes up.
It's It's so hard on both counts for those ships because on one hand you have the Odyssey, which is still a concept ship, not even in pre-production yet, which means things will change. It will be, because it's going to be a brand new ship. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. On the other hand, on the other side of that coin, you have the Carrack, which is a ship that has a lot of gameplay that still isn't in, that's going to really up its value. Things like drones, modularity, the case, and cartography, all that kind of stuff. We know that it has those antennas that are supposed to come out on the side that are supposed to stabilize jump points or unstable jump points or transient jump points, I guess they're called. So it's a little bit hard to know because in many ways, and I say this a lot about flight-ready ships, and the Carrack is probably the best example of one, is that it's flight-ready, but in a lot of ways, it's still a concept ship. There's a lot of stuff that's just not there yet on it,
There's a lot of the gameplay that if I were putting the ship out today, it wouldn't be out because the gameplay loops aren't there for it.
Exactly.
And it's an old chip as well, so it's got a lot of those old chip problems. So it's a great chip, but
they are fundamentally two different types of exploration too. That's the other thing. Exploration is a very wide, you like okay, give an example. Take salvage. Salvage does not feel as wide as exploration does. I think you guys would agree with that statement.
Yeah.
You get a bit of
and that's one of the things that.
But explorers essentially got 3 defined paths, a lot more than salvage, which is just I'm breaking shit down.
And one of the things that really stood out to you and me when we first saw the Odyssey was they were different roles. They just function totally differently. And the size is different. So Shinobi Trip to change tack completely and go in a completely different direction. Could the Kruger Stingray be a remake of the Ares Iron and Inferno as it should have been from the beginning, i.e. not a remake, but showing them how they should have done it, yes.
We talked about this yesterday, didn't we, Grim? And I even said, we'll talk about this. I did say, but go ahead, Algared. We'll let you talk about it because we've already talked about it. Yeah.
So I'm putting in a question, so I'm not.
Yeah, sure, Algared. Sure, yeah, it's a plan.
Hey, 11/27.
Yeah.
But look, I argued from the very beginning that the Ares should not have been a Crusader ship. It should have been Kruger. Like Kruger had already established the fact they get their weapon, they build the ship around it. That was the P-52. That was the process going forward. And what do they do with the Ares? They literally get a big weapon and build a ship around it. That was already the Kruger modus operandi. And that was the very question I actually quizzed Ben and John on, and they went, but we wanted a ship that was nice and went pew pew, and you caught the flavor of the month.
Grim, what did I say yesterday? What was I kind of agreed with Algared, did I not? In a lot of ways?
You did.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
I basically said... you go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if the Stingray follows the mantra that they've established with Kruger, which is that the ship is sort of built around whatever this primary armament is or weapon system is. If they don't do that, let's say they go kind of and make a left turn and they say, oh, we're actually going to make the Cutlass version of Kruger, it's the small multi-crew Kruger ship, then that'll once again be a little bit of a lore break, and you kind of have to wonder what their plans are with Kruger. I mean, right now I think we can all assume and speculate pretty confidently that it's going to be another ship built around a gun in some way. It doesn't mean it won't be multi-crew, it just means it'll have a focus,
I think you'd both agree the safe assumption is a medium ship. That's we're going up in size, are we not?
Yeah.
So that's the safe assumption. Sorry, Algared, go ahead.
That would be what I'd expect to see, whether it's a heavy fighter or a long-range fighter or some other ship. But I expect it to be going up. But you look at the Wolf. Even the Wolf has the bespoke ballistic cannons on the side, and yes, you can now change them for Kruger's lasers. the Alpha Wolf has the lasers, but man, does not that center line vent kind of cry out for another
it really
big
does.
size? Let's see, the Kruger, the P52's got a size 3.
Yeah.
They've got a size 4 on the Titan.
Well,
or on the Avenger series.
What did Paul call it? The Dire Wolf. He nicknamed it the Dire Wolf.
And
he,
the Dire Wolf are a great big, and I would expect.
So instead of
size 6,
dual size 4s like a size 5 or a size 6, like Algared's saying, that just goes straight down the center, like the Merlin. Call it the Dire Wolf.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Well,
I think a lot of people would like that, to be honest. Like, let's be honest, the Wolf has been pretty damn well received.
I would even go as far as saying, if they could fit it, even a size 7. It's a ship that could be Vieri's competitor. And I say that not because I'm just saying, because it should. But the P52 is a snub ship with a size 3 gun, size 3 Gatling. This is a
technically you'd have to make it. Technically, you'd have to make it a medium with the size 7 to take on the Ares, but the point still stands. Yes.
But you get the idea.
Yeah, I get what I mean.
Just because the P52 is such a small ship with a size 3 gun. It makes sense to size up, but then the size of guns also change. But as they've done in the past, they can always make it a bespoke weapon and shrink it.
I could see the Stingray also being the Kruger version of the Meteor. I'm not 100% sure how well the Meteor did, to be totally honest with you. I haven't heard a lot of praise for it, and I think that primarily was just built around that it just wasn't a super exciting ship. But that same platform and a Kruger body, kind of a dual, bespoke size 5 weapon on a Kruger body, I don't know, that starts to get a little bit more just tantalizing to people. So I could see a Meteor kind of competitor as well.
What I'm hoping, there's 2 things I want to mention here. So what I'm hoping to see from this, as if it is a medium ship, is a bit of the diversification of what Kruger's about. At the moment, we just had guns, right? But are they going to do, and I know Algared's talked about this, so are they going to do a bit of science? Are they going to do a little bit of what shops?
Yeah.
Are they going to lean more into the luxury? Like, what is a part of their brand? And obviously, I think you guys would agree, the medium ships, usually when they come out, they have variants. It seems to be the most varianted of, if you look at all the variants around, most of them are smack bang in that medium category. You know, everything from the Vanguard, Cutlass, Freelancer, Zeus's, and that's why I'm expecting there to be a Clipper variant, because it's just right in that medium window.
Do you recall, and I don't, and this is why I'm asking, do you recall where Kruger were on that matrix of, that?
I don't think they were on it. I don't even think they were on it, to be honest with you.
So I've
got it saved. Let me try and bring it up.
But if it's on it, that's going to be the thing that actually gives us a better idea of where they're going to fall. But just the fact that in law they are, the parts that they're really into making sure their parts are.
So here it is. I've got to open
precision parts.
Open with Firefox, so everyone else can see too.
Yep.
And then press this button, and I don't see any Kruger.
And they're not on there, but
not on there.
But that's kind of the thing where CIG are putting their.
I'm just going to turn you off for a second, Grim. Don't take offense.
Yeah.
But see where Origin is, right? Halfway between high design and commercial. So now I'll turn Grim back on. But all we've seen from Origin is high design.
It's high design.
So that means that there's a shitload of commercial ships, and commercial usually means like commercial retail. So retail means shops. And that also the other name there is Crusader. So they're probably high end's going to be Origin, the medium to low end's going to be Crusader, and I wouldn't expect. I'd expect an even lower end like Drake to have a taco truck or something like that, because Drake is the all rounder. They do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and you got Misk in there drifting a bit high design, but shifting more towards industrial,
which the Origin and the Banu would be in there too, because the Banu Merchantman is literally a shop ship. So not everything is on this thing, but you can kind of see the ones
it gives
that
you
are.
it gives you an idea of where ships are falling and where they go. So, you know, RSI, heavy military and industrial.
So essentially what I'm asking is I want to kind of see where they're going to land on this. And I think that medium ship might be the one that does that. Now, the second question I have is not directed at you two gentlemen, but you can feel free to answer. It's actually at the jackass that said that it's highly anticipated for the Origin ship, Mr. Citizen Ninja. You know, jackass, I'm just teasing. But wouldn't you be more excited for a medium Kruger over another Origin? Just saying, I'm far more interested in another Kruger than I am in another Origin. I don't know. I don't know. I think.
I mean,
Armadillo
any
style,
sort of
hull from Kruger.
Yeah. Just, I mean, we don't know what a Kruger interior looks like, and I think that would be really exciting to see. You know?
Well, apparently they're Swiss. They all have timepieces, just like.
Yeah.
You walk in and it's just like a Swiss lodge.
Yeah.
Dead lion on the floor, or polar bear, or whatever, you know.
I could almost see him having glass panels where you could see the components spinning, just because, you know, like the Swiss watch. But but
he's talking me. Citizen Ninja said, "Why not both?" And he said, if he's honest, he'd prefer to see the Kruger. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you, Lemming. Hope you're doing well. I want more Origin. But I asked you the same question, Lemming. Are you more excited for a medium Kruger or a new Origin? And I think it's like what Grim said, just seeing the interior, knowing what the inside of that could be like is far more appealing to me than seeing another Origin ship. I already know what the inside of they look like. We're going to learn more.
Yeah. And the tricky thing with Origin too is that beyond adding modularity to some of their ships, which, you know, has been discussed a little bit on here, their lineup is just so filled out, like from all like, now they're still pretty niche in terms of the gameplay loops they plug into, but no, I wouldn't say niche, but they have specific gameplay loops they plug into. Their size ranges are very filled out, like across the board, all the way from the 85X all the way to the 890 jump. So there's not a lot of room there to play. There is some room, don't get me wrong, there is some room, but you know, there is a bit of a gulf between that 90 meter 600i and the 200 meter 890 jump. There's some room in there, but again, what gameplay loops does Origin, what would a new ship do that they don't already do, unless Origin's breaking into a new gameplay like category, like, you know, some sort of industrial thing? I don't know. It's just that's why everything for Origin for me says G12, which is why I haven't gotten too excited about a new Origin.
It doesn't hurt to speculate, though, but I'm with you. I think it's going to be G12. They've kind of talked about it. It's been off and on the production thing.
And
real quick,
and I do think when they start, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. 15 minutes left. Well, 14. We've talked that long about it now, but 14 minutes left on this for the Paladin giveaway. I've dropped the links in both chats. Feel free to jump in on that. Sorry, Grim. Please.
So
continue.
just to pick up on Kruger, their motto is perfection in every piece. So they were the words that were over the workshop of the original Kruger workshop, Kruger's workshop. Perfection in every piece. They're renowned for perfection, precision, and getting things done on time. And that's the thing that really says high, you know, the high level. And I wouldn't be surprised to find, you know, because other companies will supply their parts. It used to be said, or at least in one of the staff meeting at Kruger, where they decided, yes, we'll build the Tiger Strike. It was, we build all the parts for the weapons. Why don't we build our own? And the same with the P-52. We build all the parts for a ship. Why don't we build our own? And so I wouldn't be surprised to find that those precision parts are actually used in Origin ships anyway. So I would really like to see a Kruger ship.
We never got, we never got our Year of the Beam either. So I could see Kruger beam weapon, or it'd be even cool to see Kruger like partner. Like if Kruger became known as the company with crazy ass weapons, like could you imagine a ship where Kruger teams up with Volt, and it's a Kruger and Volt combination ship?
I feel this year will go down as the year of the trolls, right? Like they told us with beams, we never got them. They trolled me in Algared and told us it wasn't Drake. Like just it went on, and man, the
Yeah.
the number of posts I get on. I'll see
Well,
if I can find it. Hold on, be good for a laugh. Hold on. But say what you're
and
gonna say. Sorry.
while you're finding that, this is
Yeah.
why we have a little bit of doubt when they say that big orange salvager. Go again. It's your obvious thinking is that it's Argo, but the troll in CIG suggested something else. So.
It really is, as we say. You know, they give us enough rope to hang ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's enough rope for you guys to hang yourselves as well.
Let me show you this. So in the last couple of weeks, right? This thing was a year ago, the post that I made on Reddit, but they're literally going, not Drake equals Clipper, not Drake, huh? You think you should update this? Like all this type of shit. Like giving me shit for something that was posted a year ago. Like it literally says up there that it was a year ago. So people bookmark this post to come back and say you were wrong. Like it's not hilarious. And
here,
why?
And here's the thing. While I think the Clipper was always a Drake ship and that was always the plan, one note I will make is that, I recently did those episodes where I went through all like the old unused concept designs. It was like a 3-parter. It was really popular. And one thing I learned by doing that is there's a lot of ships that started out as one manufacturer and ended up flight ready as another manufacturer.
Absolutely.
Quite a few, actually.
Yep.
So while I don't think this is the case with the Clipper, it's plausible that maybe they originally did think it could be like a Gray's Market ship, and they were just like, no, this is a solid Drake. Who knows? I mean,
the Terrapin's one of those. It was Aegis, and it went to
it was Aegis.
Anvil.
It was an Aegis.
And I think the Vulcan would have been one too, because you look at the Vulcan and it looks very Anvil, but then it actually is an Aegis.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a few that have changed hands like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrapin, if you go back on the subscribers vault and look at the old concepts images of the Terrapin, it's got the Aegis logo there. It's, so it is something that happens. I don't think it happens as often or anything, but it used to have. It's definitely something that has happened.
Yeah. Well, as someone says, the Nomad looks like an alien ship, the Xi'an.
Yep. We did the same thing. Yeah. And it was there's so many little pet peeves like that. Like they redesigned the Mustang so it doesn't land on its landing gear, and it looked amazing, and they turned it into what it is now. And then the very next ship they do, they go, "Oh yeah, let's just have hover landing legs." And it's like,
but they also did it because they said, yes, we want to get rid of those invisible landing gear when a wing gets shot off.
Yeah, it's just...
so they will put the wheels underneath so it can avoid that. And the very next ship they do was the Defender, which had exactly the same problem, and I was like, I like the Mustang when it landed on its wings, or I would have liked to see it land on the midsection, kind of, and use the wings as balance, but more like a the World War II Comet.
Every time I see a repetitive problem like that, I always think back to Far Cry and have I ever told you my definition of insanity? Have you seen that? You guys know what I'm talking about? That is and I guarantee there are people in chat. Like, give me a 1 if you know what I'm talking about in chat, and you'll see. I guarantee people know what I'm talking about. There is so there's this speech at essentially right near the start of, I think it's Far Cry 3, and the actor that played it was one of the guys that was in Breaking Bad. He was like one of the main Mexican guys in Breaking Bad, and he literally this whole speech is about insanity and all this type of stuff, and then basically it comes full circle, and he goes. So after he says, "Have I ever told you about my definition of insanity?" he goes right on this massive speech, and then it kind of goes, "Have I ever told you about my definition of insanity?" And the definition of insanity, if you know from Einstein, is literally doing the same shit over and over and over again, expecting things to change.
Yeah.
I got a feeling Lemming's in the background because I keep hearing background noise. Is it just me, or is it in my head? Let me see. It's not in my head. Someone else. Oh no, I don't know who's doing it, but someone's there. Oh yeah, yep, sweet, awesome. Chris, someone reached out on Discord. They do have a Rusted Merch Man, so yeah, yes, please.
Nice, perfect.
So we'll get that sort. Please, we'll get it off you later. Thanks a bunch.
And Dirtizen, welcome to the chat on Twitch. Nice to have you. Yeah, I would just their chat. Their first message was 1, so they knew what you were talking about. Moving on with our questions, and I think the bot has died because There are no more questions in the bot.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, that might be the wrong one because that's our bot. I need to go back to stream questions. Sorry.
There's Algared, there's shit tons there. Shit loads of
I know.
questions. It's like 3 pages of them.
I looked at our page, I had the ship questions up already. So
it's all right. You're getting old. It's fine.
That means we do need to move on because we're falling behind. Golden Triangles.
Yep.
Says, what kind of redesign for the character need for the crafting room? Science components can be swapped out for whatever reason, and Carrack need general overhaul update pass.
It probably needs that. The Fabricator has a bit of an update. It's changed, but I think it probably looks like it's made more for subcomponents. I think that's what they're going for with that room. It doesn't seem to be as big as the one even the Clipper has, to be honest with you.
At least yet.
Yeah. Well, again, they've reworked it though, Algared. That's what I'm saying. Like it's changed. You can go into the room and it's changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does look like a 3D printer.
But they may update it again. We'll have to wait and see.
I would say, because it's got the repair drones, which I think would be the type of thing that's going to be repairing those larger components, I would expect that it's going to be like you said, making the subcomponents to go into parts, or making parts to repair the drones, so the drones can actually go and do the larger repairs. So
yeah.
But your guess is as good as mine.
Ooh, all right. Next question.
Tying with that, Golden Triangles just asked a question in Twitch, which was, are subcomponents still a thing? I'm going to say yes, because we hadn't heard CIG say they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if CIG don't cancel anything, it's still there. It's just not tier 1 or tier 0. It's something like tier 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, and we can even consider things like, I know they're not explicitly this, but things like fuses and even these like little life support filters now, while not specifically subcomponents, they have aspects of like subcomponent, placement within the ship. So I think it's probably still a thing. I mean, the life support module or component is a component with subcomponents that you can remove. So, I still think it's a thing.
And if you look at the way they've talked about the fuses working, whereas you don't have fuses, your power plant's still going to be able to do stuff. It's just going to be very poorly supporting the power exchange. So you put the fuses in, that gives you a lot more power usage. I imagine the life support is going to be exactly the same. You don't have filters, it's still going to do some life support, but it's not going to be as efficient or as valid, as strong or as good as it would be if you've got those filters in. So, but they're kind of subcomponents. And then you've got the flight, like the blades. They're going to be, if they're not a subcomponent, I don't know what is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've got 3 areas where we can see subcomponents coming in. We've got blades, filters, fuses, and that's just a start. So,
right.
Cragen,
next question. Sorry, I'm just setting some stuff up for the giveaway in 5 minutes.
Yep. Cragen says, with Kruger moving from weapon to snub to full ship manufacturer, and do you think they will eventually give Grey Cat some ships? I'd love a small medium generalist from them.
I would like to see a manufacturer that kind of crosses it, but the only ones we've really seen are Origin and RSI. So I think it's more ship manufacturers going into vehicles, but I think it would be nice to see a vehicle manufacturer start to go into ships. I think we probably do need at least one going the other way.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I would love to see them, Grey Cat, do a mining ship. That's where they started. Like that. Even the PTV, the lore behind the PTV was it was an over-engineered cart for moving around the mines, so that if it was a cave in, the miners would be safe.
Yeah.
And what we have is the civilian, the general purpose, the version of that over-engineered mining transport vehicle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I gotta turn off gamer mode for a second. Sorry.
That's okay.
And then I gotta turn it back on. Hang on. All right. Next question. When you're ready. Just ignore me for a little bit so I can get this done.
Yep, just got to find the next one. Okay, Kevin Laske, Z1220. Sorry if I butchered your name. How do you think NPC crew members work? At the moment, they don't, because we don't have them.
Yeah.
But I think, as X has said in the past, if they're doing repair, it's very easy to get them to do repair. You give them the animation and you give them a time frame to fix that, and they'll go for a time frame and fix that component or whatever it is they're fixing and move on. They'll have a life cycle. They'll go to bed. They'll do their stuff, and then they'll be modified by whatever characteristics they're in their tier they have, whether they're courageous, cowardly, scheming. But we can't say because we haven't got them in game to play with and interact with on our ships. So a rough idea would be how we see them doing work in the landing bays, or not the landing bays, but in the starports or in the landing zones, where you see them, just doing an animation, fixing a component, or walking around or cowering because someone evil's come by, or the way the NPCs fight you. Some will run, some will stay to the bitter end.
Let me stop you there. Right, we've got 1 minute left. I'm just putting the links in. So we're just gonna talk about this for the next minute, and then we'll get this name out. Now, for those of you that weren't here at the start of the stream, we had an accident that was caused by me. I had it set to end 1 day early. The gentleman that kind of won the thing was kind enough to say, put it back up, and I made an agreement with him where I'm going to do a wheel of names between him and whoever gets this one. And basically that means he's still got a 50-50% chance because I stuffed up. And so we're going to basically chuck it on here to the wheel of names. And so his name was Jay Sparks, and basically I'll add whoever gets the one there. I had a cool picture of a disco there. I think that the choice. And we'll give it a spin and see who wins that. But we have 5 seconds left. 4,
Luck, everybody.
3, 2, 1. And the winner
are go.
who is the winner? I think I've got to refresh it maybe. Does it not tell me? Maybe I've got to go into the Discord and check. There you go. Urban Burger. Urban Burger. Don't know if he's here or not. Yep.
Are you in chat, Urban Burger?
Yep.
This is the question.
Or is Jay Sparks in chat too? It would be good if they're both here.
Yeah, Jay Sparks, are you in chat?
We'll see. All right. He's here. Urban Burger is on Twitch. So he's here.
Big win.
Okay.
So if Urban Burger, if you are here, I haven't seen Jay Sparks.
I haven't seen Jay Sparks,
but if you win,
is here.
You'll also get the Shadowfall paint with it. So anything you want to say, Algared, before we do the spin?
Nope. We'll come back to Kevin's question about NPC crew after the draw.
All right. You want to give us a countdown, Grim, please?
Sure. I'll give you a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, disco.
Good luck, everyone.
Ignition. Blast off.
Jay Sparks.
Jay
Fair and
Sparks.
square. And you got to realize he went through the gauntlet twice for that, so I think he's earned that one. So I'll get in touch.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. So yeah, unlucky there, Urban Burger, but I think he's meant to have it. If he won it yesterday, fair and square, and then he kind of won it again here. I think that's pretty fair. And it was very good of him to be so generous. So yeah, I'll get that set up and set off to him ASAP. So yeah, and I'll have to
Very cool.
So that now.
So in terms of NPC crew, I before the draw, I kind of went through how I thought they'd go and what I know about them. I know someone else in chat said NPC gunners are going to be the easiest to. What do you guys think?
Hang on. Get Grim to answer that one.
It was the question, how effective do I think NPC gunners are going to be?
Just how do you think NPC crewmates are going to work?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they're going to honestly act like I would love for them to have like the full sort of how Bethesda always talked about it, the full like cycles, right? Where they do their role for a certain amount of time, but then they need to rest and recuperate in their bunk and recharge and all that stuff. I would love that amount of depth in it. However, I think like a lot of systems in Star System, we're going to see it come in its simplest form first, which would probably literally be the NPCs just spawning into the seats you assign them to, and being essentially, you know, just AI with a body mesh on it, for lack of a better word. So I think it's going to take some time to mature to that level. It's hard to picture a future where the AI NPCs on our ships actually are able to, you know, walk through our ships, do things through our ships and stuff. I hope that's the future, but it's a little hard to see now. I haven't given it a lot of thought because it just seems so implausible at the time, you know.
Nova A42 in YouTube said, question, I miss CitizenCon. Is there anything important I should go back and watch? And I think the politest way I can say that is no.
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 Because anything they did talk about, or at least some of the big things like Nyx and stuff and all that's in game. You can check it out now.
Yeah.
In response to your comment about not knowing where they are with the NPCs and walking around our ships, Squadron 42, we have NPCs walking around the ship.
Yep.
Now, admittedly, it's going to be different when there's other players because there's a lot more information being spammed. In our hangars, we've got what clearly look like spawn lockers for crew NPCs to come out of.
Yeah.
So I think there's that aspect which indicate they're going to be there's going to be there.
Yeah.
But in terms of how they'll work, I think it's very much like we've said a few times, X, where they'll be, you know, if they're fixing a component, they'll do the animation and there'll just be a timer and they'll just sit there and do that until you give them another order, you know, until it's finished, or you give them another order and drag them away. And
and I do think that in terms of just interacting with them and how we will you know, work with them, I have a feeling they may be in our, you know, how we're going to get the with the new party and social tools, you know, you're actually going to be able to tag certain party members as crew members and give them crew positions. That was something they showed off. Part of me thinks that we'll just have the NPCs that are on our ship are going to be listed there too. They'll just be tagged as NPCs, obviously. And I'm partly wondering, when you tag them for something like left turret gunner or engineer, then that's the role they take, and they just start doing that AI subroutine on your ship. And maybe you'll be able to go up to them and also give them a more direct order, like, hey, go do this, go do that, whatever. But from an interaction standpoint, I think they're going to be present on our social crew display, whatever that turns out to be.
The most complicated thing I think that I've kind of seen all being described is when we did those episodes with morphologists around AI Algared, and it was the ones like with them remembering things that you've said even though it was 12 months ago or something like that. And really they're just different states and personality things. So again, if you have all the things that a bot can ever ask you, and it's literally just a yes or no question or a choice of 3 or whatever, literally it's just remembering that state. And again, you could even paraphrase that down to good, bad, middle, standing, or whatever, and then only certain things that you got to remember depending on what the question is. Like, does this person like you, or does this person hate you, or are they neutral? But then there'll be certain very specific questions like, are they a love interest, are they not, you know, things like that. So when you look at it, it's not that complicated. It's literally just a hierarchical tree. But the thing that will make it pivotal beyond other games that we've seen before, so let's be example, you probably have seen things like that in Mass Effect and stuff like that, right? But how do you have it so when you come back, it's always a fresh interaction? How do you know, so does that mean every patch they've got to go back to every single, and I don't mean every patch, but you know, like every once in a while, do they have to go back and every NPCs, they fill in a whole bunch of things that happened in the last 12 months. And then so when you go back there, you get to interact with them again a little bit each time. You know what I mean? That would be nice, but that is a lot of work. But again, if you're doing it in a hierarchical term, it's literally just yes or no questions and stuff like that, but it's making that content fresh. And again, with what we're seeing with the AI stuff come through where they generate stuff, taking the AI generation of questions and then generating the hierarchical tree. See where I'm going? So it could all start to be AI procedurally driven if they were to write that system out. I think it's not impossible. I think it's very probable. It's a little complex, but it is, at the end of the day, it's just a hierarchical tree. And it's finding an AI that can understand that. And I would say the AIs that we can see right now, if you give them a thing that's essentially white, black, and gray, they can kind of interpret that. It's when you start to get into the nuances that you lose them, right? So I think it's possible. I think we are really at that point where we could actually have that stuff where we come back and they feel a lot more diegetic, so to speak. But
yeah.
I would feel maybe a little better if we had at any point seen AI path testing and stuff through some of our day-to-day ships that we all use and love, like ships like, the Zeus or Spirit and stuff. Obviously, we have seen a lot of AI traversal and movement through big ships like the Idris and stuff. But it's just one of those things. It's not that I'm like negative on AI crews. I do hope it's a thing. I hope it's as robust as it seems like it can be. It's just, it's always, the AI and crew thing is always talked about as, hey, yeah, we build the ships to where there's room.
I think you'll see it in Squadron, and Algared will remember that Connie was the test bed for ship nav mesh, and they've also talked about planetary nav mesh. So it's literally the same tech, just on a ship. So if you kind of
see, I haven't seen the nav mesh stuff through a ship the size of the
Connie,
but that would be a big thing.
They've never really kind of shown it, but they've talked about it, and it was many years before planetary nav mesh.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And you even look at the Phoenix. Why were the tables so far away from the chairs in that little booth? Why are they? And clearly for NPC navigation. Why do we go from?
I think a better one, Algared, is why did they remove crawl spaces?
Yeah, why? Because that's exactly what I was going to go to. Why does the MSR go from crawl spaces to crouch spaces? Because it's easier for characters and NPCs to actually move around those spaces.
They had crawl spaces on the Starfarer, but if you think about it, right, if you've got a player standing up, right, I'm just in my TV remote here, so if they're standing up, but if you cut them in half and they're crouched down, they're still taking up the same foot space. As soon as you lay them down, they're now taking up 3 times the space because they're crawling like this.
And they're getting caught on geometry and stuff.
So you've got to program almost a completely different system for an AI to crawl around as opposed to walking and crouching. And that's why they remove crawl spaces, because then they don't have to do all that shit.
Which unfortunately made the MSR on stilts, but it's clearly a move to make it easier for characters and NPCs to move around.
Hey, Algared, if you just keep giving them shit about it, they'll fix it. I need to go back to what the original concept was with the vents that go up and around the roof and all that type of shit. It was way cooler.
Yeah, and going back to something you were saying, Algared, because I've been kind of churning on this since you said it. You talked about like, well, we've seen the AI crew moving through the Idris and stuff in Squadron. I started to think about like other examples where CIG has talked more in depth about it, and actually, you're probably right that it really is the target. I would imagine, because I immediately went to like the Genesis Starliner, the E1 and stuff, where we've heard about, and if you go back and read through some of the early passenger gameplay. Design briefs that they posted, where they mention things like the Mixmaster and stuff. They actually do talk quite a bit about NPCs being on your ship and actually having wants and needs and like and stuff like that sort of needs to be managed. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that is still the plan. That would be very, very exciting. I'm one of those people that I still love it to this day, even though I haven't played it in years. I still love games like The Sims and stuff. So if there's a little bit of that comes into Star Citizen, I would not be against it.
But that's the thing. Like CIG have said it. I haven't said anything that cancels that, and so. My experience with CIG is that if they haven't said no, that's not what it is. It's still what they're planning. It's still what they're aiming for. It's still what they're going towards. And you can see AI walking around the station. You go through Hurston, you see them walking around all the time. Stopping at a panel and doing the work, and then going off and finding a closet where they sit down or fall over dead or whatever it is, and then get their gear looted. But it clearly is, we are seeing that life cycle type thing where they do a job, they move on.
Yeah.
in our ships, I expect. Go on.
I was just going to say, and and here's the thing for me personally, I'm just speaking me personally, for example, I don't mean this for everyone, but like, I would be okay with even just the appearance of the NPCs having, you know, a life, a sense of depth or something, even if it's just all window dressing.
They talked about that, man.
I'm even fine with that.
They've talked about the personality system and stuff like that, where you can, they showed it one where they were cowardly and they didn't know how to use guns and stuff, and then there were ones that were experts. But it goes further than that. Like, I even think it's going to get into the personalities of, like, I'm a pompous windbag, I'll only go on Kruger and Origin. And then there's the other guy who's like a despot and he doesn't care where he is.
I don't care. I just let me get there. I'll take anything.
And they've shown that they can basically, it's like these giant tumblers where they can just randomly spin all these tumblers and it gives you a personality of what that person's going to be. And that will, again, affect their star rating and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you've got that. We already have that personality aspect coming into the game. You see it in the stations. You'll see some characters are carrying from everybody, and others are not caring. And then you've got the fighters who, you know, you see
got the guns out.
I'll get you for that. You shot my ship. That's it. Yeah, and the other one saying, "Oh crap, help, help, help!" You know.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing that in the NPCs we're encountering.
Yeah.
So,
and another thing too, you do not have to. I mean, you can go back to any monthly report for the last 18 months, and while not specifically what we're talking about, just overall, you can see the amount of work that is going into AI. I mean, in every monthly report, it's
and how the NPCs react and do stuff. So.
So the future might be bright, and I mean, I for one do hope that there is a really deep, interesting NPC crew, almost meta game that you can sort of play, where it's like almost becomes like a, you know how there's like the FIFA manager games and stuff like that, where you're managing football teams, almost where you're managing a crew. I would love to play a version of that inside Star Citizen. I know that's not what the game is necessarily supposed to be, but I would be all about that. You know.
See, I expect, if you're on a ship like an Idris or a ship that's got, you know, multiple crew, Idris, Javelin, maybe even a Connie, you know, there's you and your mate on the Connie. There's three NPCs. You've got one, you know, your mate's doing the engineering, and he's got an NPC who directs, you know, so you direct them into departments, and then you've got your players who are running those departments. I can see that, you know, where your engineering department got engineering NPCs, so he's directing them to fix jobs. And I can imagine, you know, and the same for the gunnery control. He's got his mob, the marine guy. He's got his squad of marines of NPCs to help defend the ship if there are borders.
And one makes you wonder too, if you kind of continue pulling on that thread, you know, especially when sort of the idea of an NPC crew was envisioned, ships were sort of what Star Citizen was, right? Well, now, and what Star Citizen is, now we got space stations, huge land bases. Are NPCs going to be part of those ecosystems too? I would imagine they are, right? I would imagine you can hire an NPC crew to just traverse your base with guns and as a sentry unit or something. So
what are they
it'll be
be
interesting
like
to see where CIG goes with that.
Driving a vehicle? Are they going to be able to drive a vehicle as they can drive a ship?
Right.
You know.
Well, we know they're planning for that, because one of the things they did on their planetary nav mesh was actually make it so that NPCs could traverse between bases and outposts and things as well.
Or operate in ATLS and just be moving cargo and you know, taking cargo movement orders from your base. So who knows?
And we've even gone further than this. We even talked about animals, like herd animals versus kind of like hero animals, like you know, the space crab and the space yeti thing and the space whale and stuff like that. They're kind of like one-offs, or, you know, there's less of them. But then what's the same thing where you get a whole like 100 gazelle and they're moving as a herd?
Well,
do you know what I mean? So how far are they going to take it?
One of the things I was thinking about was when, you know, CIG revealed space stations, and they talked about one of the features was that you were going to be able to land in a deck, and from the control room of a hangar on the space station, you're going to be able to call cargo up, so it can all be done from one room. I started to think about that for a minute. I was like, I wonder if you can have your own NPC ATC operators, you know what I mean? So I could even see that, something like that, where you have to hire that. That's part of the expense of a space station. You have to hire station crew, you know what I mean? Where ATC and personnel, right? Personnel. So, I mean, there's a lot of depth there that CIG can explore, and if they take the same approach they've taken with every other gameplay loop they've explored or gameplay feature, then the future's bright. It's going to have a lot of depth, you know.
I get you two are pretty similar. I can start to see that just like how Algared has red shirts, you're going to have red shirts. I can kind of see.
See, me and Algared have a lot in common. We both have gray in the beard. We both are bald.
That's right.
We rock. I mean, I'm wearing a hat, but I'm bald, and that's how we rock it, and that's how you know you're dealing with an intelligent man.
Yep.
No comment.
And one with a perfect head.
Welcome to this episode of Between Two Eggs. I'm Execute. I'm the Eggucator.
Yes.
Yes.
Give you guys education.
I work with a guy who, poor guy, he, you know, his hair's given up. His hair's said, I'm out, you know, and he's trying to hang on. And I just had to tell him recently, I was just like, you know, just let go, man. Let go. Just shave it off. Just let go. Live be happy.
Just tell him God only made so many perfect heads.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
You know, so.
I will tell you this now. There are some women that really dig it. That's all I'm going to say.
That's right.
They like bald men. That's just how they are.
And to segue back to our AI talk, all my NPC crew will be bald. All of them. That's going to be a prerequisite for getting on one of my ships.
That poor woman.
You'll have a bar on your ship.
Yeah. Here's one other thing I will say about that before we move off of it.
Yep.
One thing that I am a little excited about when it does come to AI crews, specifically regarding ships, is I would like to see some real value add come to ships that have like nice galleys and nice common spaces. Even if those features only end up being like an attribute bonus to the NPC's mood, you know, like maybe their personality traits or their morale gets a couple extra points because you have a galley and stuff like that. I would love for those parts of a ship to mean something. I mean, they mean something now from just a role play perspective, which is great, but to just have some other effectors as part of those spaces would be really cool. So, and that would really seriously change the game. For example, on a ship like the Star-Lancer, where we all look at that habitation room as being, it's overkill, it's too much. But imagine if that gave your crew a huge morale boost.
Same with the 890 jump, isn't it?
Yeah, 890 jump.
That crew area of the 890 jump with, you know, the crew's game room, the crew's TV room, the crew's living quarters. So.
They have talked about morale, so that probably will be a factor. But, you know, the whole thing back in the day was they wanted 90% of the population to be AI. And, like, you look at a city, right? But you go back to where they were back then, that's what they were going to have. They were just going to have landing zones. Now we've got these complete landscapes, and we like you and I both commented on the grass. Talked about Piggles, and Piggles and I were really impressed with the mountain tech as well, and the grass, as I said. Excuse me. But how do you now do that same thing for cities or outside that? And the only way I can get there is with animals and aliens and all that type of stuff. So that's a really tricky thing, because like we've seen some quasi-grazers and we've seen some copians and we've seen all these other ones. But look, when I go for a low fly, right, and I'm going through this kind of foresty area, and you know, I want that Jurassic Park vibe. I want the, you know, when the Gallimimus scene in the original Jurassic Park, I want to kind of be able to fly out across, and I want to see them disperse and go in different directions because my ships come across. I want to be able to herd the animals. I want to be able to then go hunt the animals. I want to be able to do anything I choose to kind of do with that wildlife. And I think it really is going to make, like, I can understand how it worked with the cities and it made the cities feel alive. Now I want to see that. Now you've expanded the game. I want to see that go beyond. Right. And I think the other part you guys agree is plants. Right now, it's just all human shit. It's all like human trees. They're all terraformed to be human. I get all that. But what's it going to be like when we land on a world and it's an alien creature with an alien plant and an alien? Do you know what I mean? Like these things have to exist eventually.
Well,
and I'd like to see them.
That's why it was nice on that 2954 presentation at CitizenCon. I think that's the one I'm thinking of correctly, or maybe it was 2953, where Todd Pappy revealed that base building was about to go into construction or in production, you know, and they showed us some of those concept art slides. It was nice to sort of see again things like farming and I think they even talked about animal herding is still being part of the dialogues that, you know, that we'll see that stuff.
They still even talked about that in the last Citizen Con when I was talking what's coming with bases and again it was the farming and the crops and the
we've talked even further about AI ships. Like we've heard about E1s and Genesis Starlines and VIP AI, but what is it like to transport live animals? You know,
someone said in chat ages ago,
what's it going to be like when a boogaloo breaks out of its cage and goes wild on your ship? Could it be catastrophic and the whole thing goes, is it a Drake ship or is it a high, you know, high energy shielded mist ship that
we all know we all know an animal transporter is the perfect variant for the Drake Ironclad. I'm just saying the perfect variant.
It's
that's the one they used to transport Old Man Hurston in. This is an animal.
I think it was Shinobi Trip or that said before on YouTube that Q the Serenity, Q the Firefly doing cattle transport, you know, like 100% see that type of shit being done. You know, do you have to build stalls in your ship to cattle, or do you have your energy fields storing your cattle, or do you put them in Cairo?
And tech levels, can I literally get there with my pitchfork and hay, or do I have some kind of high tech thing that auto scoops up the poop and cleans it and
Miscraptor, everybody, Miscraptor. But I will say that like this is one of the things that
the Miscrapper confirmed.
This is one reason though that I am, you know, all this talk about you know, we talked a lot about various things over the last 60 minutes from NPC crews to farming to all this stuff. And again, this is part of the reason why I as much as I wanted more systems at 1.0 launch, I get why they're focusing on 5, because there's so much rich diversity they need to bring to every planetary body, every system, not just in terms of animals and plant life, but harvestables from those things. How does the star in that system affect those things? So stopping on 5 systems gives them the ability to sort of focus on building out the level of like biodiversity we need to hit on all these gameplay loops, like farming and ranching and whatever else, and crafting. You know, it allows them to build out that biodiversity over 5 systems, to where that any new system that comes on, they go, okay, new system XYZ is coming in. We need these 400 resources that need to be able to be pulled from this system to give it the level of biodiversity that the other systems have. So it gives them just like a good model to follow, I think.
Yeah, and then you got your animals that, you know, give hides or food or chemicals, or
they all lead into crafting too.
And they all go into crafting, whether it's for medicine, for kitchen, cooking, whether it's key materials needed to make your metal stronger.
Even in production of ships and stuff, you have leather for origin and stuff like that. And even in the world today, there are animal products that go into resins and stuff that they use in really high-end carbon fiber type stuff and all this type of stuff. It's not all man-made. Some of it is natural shit still that they can't replicate yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future it's not the case, but it's clearly the other side of the coin. Like even a simple thing as wood from a tree. They've talked about the wood paneling on Origin ships. We know wood is still a thing.
Yep.
Is there going to be some guy?
It's as hard as steel.
Is that what we're going to get Wicked Wookie doing? Is he going to go out and he's going to become a lumberjack? Like, no, that'll be Drazen. He's the flannel guy. Drazen is going to be a lumberjack. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
So no one clip that and send it to him. I'll get in trouble.
Well, even Bob often rocks up in his flannel shirt.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. Anyway, moving on. Shinobi Trip. Yes, we finally got to your question.
We're probably going to have to start rapid firing these, Algared. I think we've got about half. Well, I'll put this to both of you. Have you guys got extra time to go beyond half an hour?
I've got extra time.
What about you?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I probably got about 40. Yeah, I probably got about 45 minutes.
Okay, well,
we'll still wrap it.
But I'm going to go after dark once we think over the times because my eyes starting to get.
Yeah, actually, that's why I'm coping so well. I didn't turn the lights on today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's killing me.
No wonder my eyes aren't hurting so much. All right, Shinobi Trip said, with leaks showing what is coming for the next patch hurdles, I foresee Execute being very upset with a lot of people.
Let's say that again.
Shinobi Trip says, with leaks showing what is coming for the next patch bundles, I foresee Execute being very upset with a lot of people. I don't know what's coming.
I will never be upset with you buying what you want, right? I will always be upset with the way CIG sell them. And I don't think anyone would disagree with me that there hasn't been at least a single patch bundle they've brought where there's been something in it that they didn't actually want. That's what I am trying to stop. Because trying to sell shit people that they don't want to get the one thing that they do want is fucking evil.
I personally think it's unethical.
It's unethical. And I guarantee you if it was not mainly in America, there'd be a lot more people that would complain and they would have to change what they're doing. But when it's an international company like that, it's a lot harder to get things changed. And a lot of governments don't want to go against international companies. It's just
all right, moving on. Next question.
Wait, hang on. Let Grim answer.
Unless you want to add something very quickly, Grim, because we're rapid
No,
fire.
I was just gonna say, it'll be interesting to see if CIG eventually, because other games do it, like World of Warcraft, if they'll eventually sell patch bundles, for example, in one country that they don't sell in another. That'll be interesting because there are games that do that.
The other thing I'll add is they're all eventually going to be available in game. Just wait.
All right. Moving on, Shempasta has another question. Does Badgers like his Perseus? The answer is yes, I believe. All right, Kevin Laquest 1220 says, will the F7A upgrade ever come back? I really want it, but I can't afford grey market prices. I hope so.
I think it will,
if just to kill the F7A upgrade.
I basically to see what's happened. Like, look what's already happened. We've seen Star Kittens come back. We've seen Best in Shows come back. Why not?
Yeah, never say
never. So I hope so, but the reason it hasn't, it was used as a fundraiser for
they've literally attacked the grey market this year. Why? And that is a highly sought after thing in the grey market. They're talking about the one that only came out like 2 years ago.
The F7A Mark 1 $20 upgrade.
Not the Mark 1. They're talking about the one that came. They're talking about the Mark 2, I think. That literally just came out like 2 years ago. Are they saying the question Mark 1 or Mark 2?
No, just says F7A. But anyway.
Yeah.
They cannot afford grey market prices, which makes me say Mark 1.
But they're both on the grey market. So it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I think they'll both eventually come back. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, wait. I hope they do just to kill the grey market.
Shut up, Bubs. You can jump in and join us if you want, by the way. No, he's in chat. He's going to Mark 1. Oh, yeah. All right.
If you want to say comments like that, pop in. Bobs, we'd love to see you. You can join the rapid fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jay says, question: AO Blades versus NPC crews. I imagine both need some sort of AI.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scrolling down, Nightbot questions. Nova42 says, what do you think the price increase of a hull A? What do you think of the price increase of a hull A, raft, hull B, rail N will be? Will the raft increase enough that you can chain it with the hull B?
I think the hull B is more likely to go up a lot more than the raft. I think the raft will be under $200. I'm expecting 165 and up.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be commensurate with their cargo increase. So the rail N and hull B will have the biggest increases in price. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Full Metal Jacket says, regarding phrase, hello mates, how do you think CIG will design the engineering only as a bonus when you push the boundaries, like in real life? When you travel, and even if there is a small wear for real, you are not bothered by failure every 10 minutes. I think they've already indicated that at the last show, that they're pushing it, that they want it to be more fun, not like a job.
They're gonna have to tweak it. Like it's like I said,
long road ahead of
people, and I said this on your stream too, didn't I, Graham? Like people are forgetting that this is not a game. This is a game in development. Like they've got to test it, so they're going to put it out to wide audience, see what we think, and adjust.
Yep.
You know, and they've only released a small part of it, so they can test that before they put more shit on top of it.
I would say don't make any rash decisions about ships you own and how they are currently operating with engineering equipped. Just we're way too early.
Not looking at anyone that had a Polaris called Nonstop Bops that melted it.
Yeah, some people.
Sergeant
Perry says,
you're going to regret that, my friend. Anyway, keep going.
Sergeant Perry says, with the latest newspaper loading screen from the PTU, is data running dead?
We'll say that again. What was it?
So,
data running
with the latest newspaper loading screen from the PTU, the one that talks about real-time communication between systems, is data mining dead? Or data running dead?
No, I just think it's writers trying to make creative shit.
I think it's just dealing with what they realise is a feature that happens regardless.
And still
people
think about
use third-party systems to
transmitting data securely in a ship is still far safer than transmitting it over wireless where it could be hacked. So that's
exactly. There may be reasons why you don't want to transmit data.
Just when it's highly valuable or valuable.
And I think what they did with that news poster, they're flagging, yes, people do not want to be two systems away from friends and not be able to talk to them.
So maybe it can go a couple of systems, but it can't go 10 or 5 or whatever. I don't know. But again, they'll make it up as they go along. That's what the writing team are for.
I think they're just doing it to deal with what they already know happens. Hawk 205 says, or 2005 says, how much do you think the in-game prices will go up for 1.0?
This much. That's exactly how much they're going up. 100% accurately, they're going up this much.
I think that much, but yeah.
You'd be difficult, Algared. It's exactly this much. I've told you what it is. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. It's this much.
Piece of string. All right. Okay, Makamuzi 3030 says, quick question. If you buy two ship 4 paint LTI pack, and you want to CC up, what happens? Do you get 2 LTI ships with CCUs? And so if you buy a 2 ship pack of ships with LTI, and you can actually upgrade each of those ships with LTI. Yes.
Yep. And if it's got paints, the paints stay the same.
And the paints will stay with that pack.
Yep.
So if you're in the pack, they stay in the pack.
I have multiple ones like that. For example, I wanted the X1 Scarlet paint, and I believe the ship is something completely different, but I still got the skin type of thing.
Yeah. Hawk 25, 4.5. When it's ready.
It's about this far away. Away.
DJ.
Not that far.
Yeah. Pretty close.
Yeah, we're very
DJ
close.
Junior 77 says, will the F7A ever come back up for purchase? That's answered again. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At some point, socially confused. Question, do you think that any of the ships released this IAE are duds?
Ooh. No, not really.
I honestly don't.
No, I think every ship's got its place. Even like literally the Salvation and the Golem are literally taste testers. You know, like they give you a taste of what it is fairly cheaply. So I do think they've got a place.
That was a pretty solid lineup this year.
Yeah,
pretty solid lineup.
We thought we had everything worked out. We'll put it this way. Compared to, like, say, the 5 years before this, where I was really getting sick of covering AOE, it became really drudgy and boring. I had things to look forward to every second day. You know, like, what are they going to do next? You know, and every single one. Like, I remember when I reached out to both of you about the MDC, and both of you were like, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of interesting all of a sudden." Like, and that's how they reacted.
Instead of just being a vehicle.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah, it was something different and interesting, and it changed how I thought about what vehicles could be. I want to see that now on a ship. Just fly in, and it's just like this one man little like what would a mini hammerhead be? You know what I mean? Like this,
I saw. I not to distract, not to tangent, but I did see someone say, "Hey, we've already got the Nautilus in game," and it showed a picture of the Polaris with a bunch of MDCs driving off the ramp. So.
Yeah. Well, again, what if you had, say, you know, I'm making something on my head, like it's called the Swordfish or something like that, and all it is just a single person, and it's just got like 8 PDCs on it, and you just fly it into a battle, and it's designed to control an area, and you literally your whole job is just to move that around. And basically, you're a fighter screen. That could work, but you've got no defenses if they directly target you. You're 100% reliant on the AI. So there's a cross platform thing there. And again, as we saw with the MDC, it won't attack people on foot. So the weakness of that ship would be someone trying to come across and board you. But you see, there's a counter.
Come into chat. Come into chat box. That way you can ask your question in chat.
Yeah, Bob doesn't. No questions answered by people that can literally come into the Discord and talk like a rude person. Be sociable.
I know. So
we'll get in here.
I'm not answering that question, Bob. You have to come in here to ask it.
Yeah.
There you go. Void Blight says Liberator or Odyssey as a pirate support ship, all gameplay loop ship.
Liberator or Odyssey
may see combat. May provide support ships, may survive off a grid, finding hitting jump points, etc.
Do you just want to kind of move and attack with the Liberator, or do you want to do exploration and move stuff as well? They're very different.
I guess
he said that all gameplay loop ship to support them.
My answer would be Ironclad, but I know that's not one of the options. So I guess I would probably say Liberator.
Liberator is probably more versatile, and the Odyssey is more dedicated. But again, it can't, like, there's so many factors in there. Like, who are you playing with? What system are you going to be in? What do you prefer to gameplay? Like, this is a mini Fix My Fleet. It always comes down to, like, this is what I asked yourself to answer this, by the way, whoever asked the question. What are your top 3 things you want to do in the game? And if one of those is transport or exploration, and then order them, which one do you prefer? So if you prefer exploration,
pirate support ship.
Yeah.
Pirate support ship for all gameplay loop. For all gameplay loops.
Oh, I didn't hear the pirate part. Sorry. The Ironclad.
The one thing
the Ironclad.
The one thing I would say about the Liberator is I do think the Liberator will have, maybe this has already been announced on it, but have some repair crafting capabilities, which could be really handy for a pirate sort of org.
Is this
that one feature alone? But...
Who was the person that asked the question?
Void Blight.
Void Blight. Can you let us know? They're in YouTube because I saw them earlier. Can you let us know if you're against Drake? Because if you're against Drake, I'd instantly say Ironclad or Kraken. From what you've asked, they are the ships that are tailored towards pirates. And from what you're suggesting, the Liberator is essentially a smaller Kraken, and then you ask the exploration thing, but the Ironclad or the Corsair would probably be the pirate version of what you're asking. So have Ironclad and have Perseus.
Essentially sounds like exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, this has already got the Ironclad, so I'll be looking at.
Okay.
Shempasta says release the Kraken. That's his answer, and yeah, that would be probably the better option for.
He says that every time he sees Grim's face, like it's a natural verbiage with Shempasta.
If you're looking for one that does everything, yeah, that'd be it, because you can land a miner on an exploration ship on it. But yeah, if you're trying to do everything,
I'd still say Ironclad.
It's going to be tough
because that massive bucket with the cargo and the tractor beams is going to be so supportive to those ships. And the Ironclad Assault, you do kind of lose the backup of the ships, and it becomes a lot more vehicle based. But then if you want vehicles, you go up to the Kraken, and the Kraken does the ships, and it's way bigger. And that's a flying, basically a home away from home. It can land, it can hide. There's a reason why Grim and I like it, and I know Algared likes it too, is because it's just it's very versatile. Again, look at the number of people you're playing with. Can they support that ship? What gameplay do you personally like in game? And again, if anyone that's done a Fix My Fleet, we have actually talked about how we do our Fix My Fleet several times, have we not, Algared?
Voidblight says, thanks, buddies. Have Ironclad and Perseus.
Yeah, I read that earlier. You missed it, but it's fine.
So, Technotic DJ says, do we know if they are going to release a ship this month? And if so, any ideas what?
Grim will say, I said yesterday. Always the skeptic.
I don't know.
Shut up, you face bitch. You know what's in the leaks. Tell us what's in the leaks. Stop being a little whiny bitch. What's in the leaks?
Well, one of the ships that has been mentioned in the leaks is the RSI Hermes. Could be that. It could.
Which is most likely
general purpose cargo variant of the Apollo. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an Apollo-like variant. I'm not thinking it's fully cargo. I think it's got something to do with the data running. And there is a lot of mentions of data running in the file. But again, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But I think it's definitely.
I am surprised we haven't seen any more mentions of it in the game files. Is a little concerning if it's supposed to come out and we're on wave 3 of PTU, but doesn't mean it couldn't hit.
Look what happened at CitizenCon. Look what happened at ARE. Literally the day of or the day before, and smack, it just lands right there. So I don't think you will see anything.
They're becoming better at keeping things close to the chest.
Okay,
Cosmic Turtle. Has anyone received the Best in Show Polaris flag pennant yet?
No, I don't know. I haven't looked.
I did.
I got in game and looked at the skins. Have you boys looked at the skins?
I haven't looked at them in game yet. I did get my pennant and my BS and my Best in Show paints today, though. So I think they're still sort of rolling out to people.
They are sublime. The Gladiator is amazing. The Zeus is amazing. For me personally, it's the Gladiator and the Polaris are my two favorites. The Polaris, just like this. You know, I joked about Gold Member. I am 100% going to have to call my Polaris Gold Member after seeing it. And the Gladiator, I can't. It's just from the front it looks black. From above it looks gold. It's like a gold black tint. You know those pearlescents where you look at them from a certain angle.
Yeah.
So from the front it looks like a combat ship. From above it just looks like your luxury Origin ship. Yeah, it's great.
I know it's not the most exciting one, but the Asgard one looks really nice too. I mean, all four of them really are pretty sharp. So,
well, again, if you own, I don't know, I'm biased about the ships I like, obviously, right? The Zeus one for me, I've lost a lot of love over the Zeus. I don't own an Asgard. I don't own a Gladiator either. But it was just really good to finally see a ship on it that I've seen for over a decade. It's got a skin, and it's really nice.
The biggest issue with the Zeus skin is that it's got the caution lines of the CL, but it's the ES paint, so it's a little bizarre to me. So,
all right, I want to go back one question.
Okay, moving on.
Hang on, Aaron. I want to go back one question real quick, and this is for you two guys. Do you reckon that ship that's coming, whatever it is, if it comes, do you reckon it's going to make 4 million? Because that's all we need to get 150. Now, Paul he thought I was crazy when I said 150 million, but when I look at that at 146, I think it is entirely possible 4 more million, and we are there. And by the way, we're only 6 days in. There are 25 days left in December.
And we're 4 million. And there's still, look, and there's Zeus, all those new ships are still on sale. They'll be on sale for a month.
It wouldn't shock me if for Luminalia they do something crazy where they're like they release some download patch. Well, they're gonna have the download patch bundle, whatever, for December. But also there could be some sort of Luminalia skin pack you can buy. Who knows? But I think we could easily hit 4 million.
Didn't I see something on the leaks that would be patch bundle worthy? Hang on, I swear I saw something yesterday.
There's some like zebra striped dazzle paint for the Gladius, and then there's some Mirai Guardian, Mirai Fury.
I've seen these
paints.
These ones.
Yeah.
And I also saw an armor that was basically very akin to that. Give me a second. I swear I saw that. Give me a second. This thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also saw this one, which I thought was interesting. This feels so it's the Palantir armor in almost concierge colors.
Yeah.
And it has a name though, Algared. It was called Disruption Camo is what that's called. Disruption Camo.
Disruption.
Funny how Disruption Camo reminds me a lot of data running. I don't know why, but electronic warfare.
That Palantino armor, by the way, really matches the paint that's on that Guardian. The Guardian paints are kind of weird, kind of marble looking with gold. So if you zoom in, or camo with gold or whatever. So I see those, kind of. So maybe there's two patch bundles.
That's what I was about to say. I think there's 2 patch bundles. How you doing, Bobs?
Hey, how you doing, guys? How we doing?
Good. Hey, Bob.
Are you gonna be streaming soon?
Well.
I am going to be streaming. Yeah, I'll probably start I've just come for a chat before I do. I'm not.
He just wants us to jump across to him when
we're done. You're just here to warm up.
Yeah, if you start before we finish, we'll throw over to you. Not a problem.
Just let me know 10 or 15 before, and I'll go get started. But I genuinely wanted to
10 or 15 before. We'll let you know.
Okay. Well, then I'll. Yeah. Well, then I'll hang out for a little bit anyway. I wanted to ask though, you talked before about the duddiness of ships this year, and I tend to agree that all the ships that we have were awesome, right? There's no losers there, but I did ask that question about price, and if price adds to a ship being a duddiness,
I think it does.
Or being a dud rather. It does. So do you think that every ship? And I know this is a leading question, but do you think that every ship was reasonably priced this year?
Well, again, we talked about the salvation to the NDC, and when you look at that, like for $8, you're getting a copy of the game, you're getting 40,000 hours for UEC. The NDC vehicles are just not good value. They're just not.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one, honestly, for me that was too expensive, but I say this about all large combat ships, is the Perseus, but it's worth it. I mean, I bought it, so so you know what I mean. But is it expensive and probably a little too expensive? Yeah, probably.
It was very cool though. It was very cool. If you've seen the review that me and Paul did of that, I was speaking to the little kid in me like a shit ton. It took there was 2 things that really grabbed me: that and the sound effects on that wolf, man. Like I've never been so tempted to buy a ship based on the sound.
Oh, the guns. Yeah, the guns are wolf and nuts.
He's been drawing over it ever since. So yes. Right, Xenoworks.
Yep, go ahead.
7553. We're rapid firing these. Remember, X.
Yeah, but we're gonna guess. We're gonna guess. The questions aren't going anywhere. We can answer them later. Man, the teacher in you is not going to beat the teacher in me, because my mum was a teacher, my stepdad was a teacher.
Just because your parents or uncles or teachers does not mean you're a teacher.
But I also sat there and flicked rubber bands at my own mum when she was my substitute, so I can take him on any day of the week, right? I will. Yeah, you would not want me to be in your classroom. I would be a demon. But yeah. Anything else you want to ask, Bob?
Thank God that you're not a student.
Yeah, well, I had one more little brief question then,
yeah, sure, go for it.
In relation to price. So MDC what you said it was the most interesting ship of the release. I think so as well, and maybe a little bit overpriced. What's the reasonable price then for land vehicles? And do you think that something like Salvation needs to go up, or land vehicles need to go down? At $50 for an MDC, you're saying that's too much.
Yep.
Do we scale ships up around it, or scale prices down?
They've clearly got to go down. There is not enough shit under the $45 price tag. It just isn't. And when we actually did the math on, I think it was the Atlas to like an Aurora, based on the in-game pricing, and an Atlas should have cost $7. It costs what is it, 50 or some shit. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's the problem. The real world pricing for vehicles is insanely disgusting compared to, when you consider they can't go between system. Even a snub ship is better value than a vehicle.
Yep.
And it's only barely better than a vehicle.
Yep. But we've said this. How much would they make up on volume? You imagine if every Atlas was $10. How many of us would have brought an Atlas? Everybody would have brought an Atlas.
Would have bought several.
Well, yeah. In most cases, people would have done. They're not thinking of volume. The whole reason we did that push with the MPUV back in the day to be the best in show was we wanted to piss them off, but also send a message about volume. And that's exactly the message we got back. And they were so pissed that we did it. They were so pissed that we stuffed with their sale. But then at the same time, they were like, but hell, we sold so bloody many of them. So many.
It was like, we're annoyed at you. You've ruined our sale.
But we didn't. We just steered the boat somewhere else, right? And it was to show them. And then they changed marketing managers, and it was all lost again. So, I don't want to sit here. Look, remember I was talking about the definition of insanity? I feel like we're doing it again. We're gonna have to keep doing it again to keep teaching them. But if it was me,
something that's sorry, you go.
I was just say if it was me, I'd just be lowering the prices of vehicles from now on.
Yep.
I was going to say, when they actually do something that's shockingly reasonably priced, it does just go sell out the wazoo. I mean, the thing that jumps to mind most recently was the Shiv. The Shiv has some issues, but the price of the Shiv was so low. I
disagree adamantly that was well priced. A Cutlass is 110.
Well, they sold that as a gunned up Cutlass. Like the marketing team sold that as a similar ship to a Cutlass. You know my opinion. It's not. It's got issues, but it's sold out the wazoo for $110 for what they call a heavy fighter. That's pretty crazy.
I would still say it's probably $25 overpriced. Again, it is fundamentally a Cutlass with less cargo than a Cutlass, but a few extra guns, right? And that does not. In what world does that equal a $40 price premium? It just doesn't. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, but look how cool it is.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
He's right. Yeah, he's right.
Cool. I would have said a more reasonably priced ship that recently came out was the Wolf.
Well, 100% agree. 100% agree.
You're not wrong though, right? Like they do price these things based on how they look. They really, really do. And the ship they knew people wanted that junker ship. I refuse to call them jalopies, by the way, but they wanted those junker ships, and I have no doubt the one they're selling next year will be just as popular.
And to be fair, the Gray's Market ships, or at least the two we know about, especially with the ship, they already had a little bit of built-in mystique FOMO to them because they had been seen for years in the squadron stuff. But I agree with you, Algared. I thought the Alpha Wolf was very nicely priced. You felt like when you got it, you did feel like you were getting your money's worth, at least in regards to Star Citizen spaceships for what they're worth. You did feel like you were getting a good amount of ship for the price. So I would definitely agree with that.
I'd also give you the Clipper.
I'd also give you the
Clipper. I don't think that was worth $150 either. Again, they keep telling us these ships are based on their components. It's all got all size 1 components. I don't think I've seen another ship that's above $100 with only size 1 components.
Yeah, the only thing is that I do think that maybe that price of the Clipper speaks to the value CIG is going to be assigning to crafting and how powerful
I think it's beyond
going to be in game.
I think it's the multiple versatility aspect because it was previously before that you got a C8R with a medical bed. but now it's got a medical bed and it's got fabricator, so it goes one step beyond stuff. But again, here's the other thing: a Cutlass Red has 2 medical beds, and that's only $135. That rule of cool is 100% why that was priced at $150. That should have been like what, 125, 135 absolute max. And again, you look at the components and it brings the price back down. It is just not what, like, it's, how can you look at a Cutlass or a Cutlass Red and then look at a Clipper and go well, even a Shiv, all three of them. But how can you look at those ships and go, they are more valuable than that? They aren't. Not on components. You know, the only thing that does it, like Bops was saying, is rule of cool and the way they look, and that's the only reason they were aggressively priced so high. And and we're getting into that Cutlass steel problem.
Yeah. Well, with the Cutlass, the Clipper, they allow you to be a Drake owner, which is worth it right from the get. You know what I mean?
Well, they enable a single person to be an explorer and go out deep.
Go ahead, Bobs.
On that exact note, though, you just mentioned it, and I got to bring it up. The Cutlass Steel has had some pretty substantial reworks come engineering, and it's looking like it might be viable. And there's a few of those like real useless dropships that are getting armored right up. What do you think, Algared? Are you getting excited?
Not at its price, though. No, not at the price they're selling it at.
How much is it? What's the cost of it?
It's basically 2 Cutlass Blacks and a Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Is it that much?
It is.
No way
it is an insane price to buy with cash. It is. Why do you think we call it the Steel? STEAL.
Yeah, I will bring it up just for you, Bops.
It's not the ship itself.
210 war bond and 235 standalone.
It's disgusting.
Wow.
Now, in law, I don't like it because Drake ships were already overgunned. So you got the Cutlass platform. It's already overgunned, and they put more guns and stuff on it. And you lost your cargo for seats. But for the price, insane. It's not worth it.
It's not worth 2 Cutlass Steels and a Dragonfly anymore because the Dragonfly was 35, but now the Cutlass has gone up to 110. But point still stands. What component is worth more than a ship? And I would argue none, personally. So, yeah.
So
put it this way,
and that is the main reason.
You could get a Cutlass Red. Oh no, you can't. Not anymore. I was gonna say you could get a Cutlass Red and a Cutlass Black, but no, you can't. I'll be $10 off.
But that is the main reason why I hate the Steel. It is overpriced, significantly overpriced. Biting game.
You asked
if you really like it, biting game.
You asked yourself that question. That was what you came on here to ask, was about the dardiness. Is it based on price? There you go. That is the pivotal freaking answer.
It is the only reason I hate the Steel. The absolute overpriced, disgusting money grab of it.
And for those of you that can't pick up on tone, that is Algared annoyed. Right? That is Algared annoyed.
That is Algared annoyed, absolutely. Okay, XenoWorks 7553.
Yeah.
With engineering coming out and repair tools being a thing, my question is, when will there be enough tech to bring repair ships like the Vulcan into the verse? When we get drones.
Drones. Yeah, it's all drone related. Yeah.
Bobs, if you wanted to drop out and go get your stream started, and just shoot me a message on Discord when you're ready to go.
Okay, easy. Okay, so thank you for letting me come by and chat.
Always
appreciate it.
Anytime, Bobs.
Awesome to have you pop in, Bobs.
I will reach out. I do need to talk to you about some stuff, so we'll reach out. Hey, buddy.
Yes, Ninja, the Steel was the first ship I really tried to avoid buying, and I ended up buying the pack that had it in, or the extension pack that had it in, just because I wanted the other ships, and I really hated doing it because I hate the Steel. It is the one ship I have never spawned and never will. And it's slated for it being upgraded at one point. That's the only advantage it is. It gives you a very good jump to a bigger ship, but no saving. DJ Junior 77 says, I purchased the Kraken a year ago. I saw some media that had it fighting in Idris, although many people are saying it cannot stand toe-to-toe with an Idris. Thoughts? It shouldn't stand toe-to-toe with an Idris.
It's going to come down to how well you crew it and what's on the flight deck.
Yeah, because again, getting those ships off the flight deck are going to be a hell of a lot quicker to get off an Kraken than they are off an Idris. You've also got
if you got two Paladins sitting on the flight deck and stuff like that.
Yep.
Who knows what could happen.
You've got the ability to bring the ships back and repair them as well. You can't repair as well as an Idris as you can on a Kraken, more than likely.
That said, should the Kraken go toe to toe with the Idris?
No, it shouldn't.
It should be over the horizon, sending its ships in to get the Idris.
Yeah. It's a backline support vessel versus a frontline fighting combat ship. They are both very different. But could it, if it had to? Yes, I think it could. I don't know if it would win. Again, we're going to have to kind of wait to see that in game. But like Grim said, it's not going to be the Kraken that's doing the fighting. It's going to be the ships on the deck. And again, 2 Paladins and a Kraken and all the fighters versus 3 fighters. And think about how quickly those fighters are going to get shot. If you've got a Paladin already deployed and they start coming out, like, what do you reckon the Paladin's going to be doing? Yeah, I'm just taking those out. So you it's just you. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that fight develops. But if the fight is already out, again, for example, what if the 3 Eclipses on the Idris? It's not the Idris and it's not the Kraken. It's what they are carrying that makes that fight different.
Yeah. All right. This question is just for you, Grim.
Sure.
Trying to be rapid fire. Question, do you think the length of the hull D and E will change with the lower capacity?
That's a question for Fishbone. Fishbone was doing that stuff.
Most likely it will. And I think it primarily has to do, obviously, with cargo capacity, but also just usability of the ship. The longer the ship gets, the more spindles it gets. It just starts to become unwieldy and not really fit into the gameplay very well. So yeah, I think the ship will definitely get smaller. So
Tesla Coil has a question. Do you think next year with Squadron 42 coming out, that will see CIG start to focus more on the game's current lack of social features?
I think it's a 1.0 thing. I think you got to remember 1.0 is 2027. That's the plan. I don't think it's any more than that.
SV175 says, or SVL75 says, it's a bit of a bit off topic, but everything's off topic. How do you think that insurance month like 120 is going to be like 120 in real world or some kind of in-game month variant? I think it's real world. Or
Sorry, I was working in the background.
But it'll be a cheap thing. How do you think insurance will work? Like, will 120 month insurance be like 120 months in real world, or will it be some in-game version?
They said it was in-game.
But if it is, it's going to be based on gameplay time.
Right.
Shinobi Trip, to add to the pile, how far off are the IA ships from Fleet Viewer? That's for you, Grim.
They're all done except for the Salvation, and the Salvation is mostly done. I just got to conform it. So realistically, they could all be up this weekend. So
right, so you've had 24 hours and you haven't done shit? What the fuck?
I know.
You are slack. You are really enjoying your day off. How dare you?
We could have got most of them up, but Starlet does like to wait till we get the full load. So it'd probably be this weekend. So
Grim is confirming Starlet likes full loads. Right. Good to know. Good to know. Right. You're not living that one down. Mate, someone clip that and send Starlet right now.
I'm not.
Okay. DeJocko has a question. They said, should I melt approximately 40 ships to get the Praetorian pack? I'd really like to have the Idris M 890 and Javelin, but I would lose a lot of ships with decent discounts from CCUs. That is a tough question.
That is a Fix My Fleet question. Jump on the Discord, chuck it in the Fix My Fleet.
Idris M is the big one that you can't get unless you get one of the big packs. So
that's a question that we'd have to sit down and go through all the stuff with you. So yeah, but if it's big enough and warranted enough, they get pumped up and brought to our attention.
The Praetorian pack is also been just recently worked. I think it's had a lot of its ships removed, but it does have, I think, 100,000 UEC starting money now. And and the Idris M is not available. You can buy it on the grey market for like 5 or 6K, which is insane. So if you're trying to buy it outside, that's what you're paying. So that would be new cash to get that.
Called the Praetorian
So
pack.
yeah,
Cannot find it. It's it normally. Where is it on the store?
it's the one below the pack below the Legatus pack, if I recall correctly.
No, I can't even find the Legatus pack right now. Oh, because it says I'm not signed in. What? Sign me out? What? When did that happen?
All right. Well, while you're looking for that, I'll shift us on. Hook.
I've got it. No,
25.
I've got it.
All right.
Just loading up there. So 30 vehicles. He's got didn't he say he's going to melt 30 to get 30?
Over 40. Should I melt approximately 40 vehicles to get the Praetorian pack?
I think the other question was, this is going to take too long to go through. Realistically, get on the Discord, check them on the Discord, list all the ships you have, list all the ships that are in this pack, so and provide a photo of your fleet and a photo of this fleet so people can help you compare, because that's exactly what I'd do right now. And go through it with you and see what it's going to take you to get back to most of the ships that you want and stuff like that. But again, having 30 ships, I think you boys would agree, as long as
that's a lot.
You probably ought to get back to most of what you want anyway with 30 ships.
Yeah.
And it depends also how much you really, really want that Idris M.
Yeah. There's some ships in there that don't make no sense too. Like, why would you want a 600i and an 890 jump? Why would you want the Arastra over an Orion? Shit like that, especially when you're spending that amount of money. Why would I want an STV? You know, just
because it fills up gap.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird. But yeah. Anyway.
But yeah. All right. Hook. This is a question just for you, Grim. Do you think the Endeavour will get nerfed as the Hull D and E were? Actually, it can be you as well. It can be for all of us. What do you think, Grim?
I don't think nerfed is the right word. I think it's going to get reconcepted in just a massive, massive way, on par with like how the Pioneer got reconcepted. Its general roles will be the same. How it does those roles will probably be different. So I wouldn't look at it as a nerf. I'd look at it as reconcepting.
I wouldn't even look at how the whole D and E were as a nerf. It's essentially changed with the times. That it was.
Yeah.
It's just not plausible to pull out like 98,000 SCU. Like, can you imagine how long that would bloody take? You'd pull up a port and you'd be there for a week. I get annoyed
doing it.
I get annoyed loading 60 SCU, let alone almost 100,000. I can't even fathom. No, fuck off. No way would I sit there and do that.
Yep.
No way.
Yep. And I think that's why they shrank it.
Yeah.
Depends on the roles that they give the Endeavour. I know that it gives them nightmares just in the number of variants that have to do to get that out. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it's just the variants that we see rather than, and the problem is they've sold a whole pile of modules that they need to actually then build and use. So I don't think we'll see too many more variants or modules that come out for the Endeavour.
All right, but Algared, I'm going to give you 5 more questions and then we're going to call it because Grim's got to go in 5 minutes, so you got 5 more questions.
Yep. All right.
We're still going to do the raid.
Yep. Bowler, stretch goal for the Genesis mentions an AWX version. Do you think this will be scrapped or will it be an actual version?
I missed that. Sorry, I'm doing work in the background. My bad.
Well, the Genesis, when Genesis Starliner first came out, it was the Starlifter and everything else. There was also an AWACS version and a Air Force One type version. Are we still going to get the AWACS version? Grim, thoughts?
I think so. It's a big ship. They'll want to leverage the work done on it. So I could easily see a couple variants coming along with it. At least one. At least one.
Yeah, we talked about this on your stream, I think yesterday too. Yeah. I could definitely see some variants for it. It's the only way you can give it everything it needs. Or
it'll
promise.
become a mod.
Okay. All All right, so Tempest, I agree, by the way. So Tempest 73. Is there a world in which CIG will enable us to swap between remote turrets and PDCs?
Ooh. They technically are fundamentally different tech. Man, that would make a really cool grey market shiv. Like a turret that you turn and it only fires in a direction or something like that. So it, like the mechanical part of it is broken, but if you're looking at it, it just automatically fires. It'd be interesting gameplay.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah,
it's a really good question. I don't see them doing that only because I think they sort of keep the two separated for balance purposes so that they can tweak them separately. But it would be really interesting.
Or a bespoke gun that does that might be, take the tech of a bit of both.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Like imagine that fighter you were talking about, Algared, the bigger Merlin, and it just automatically fires when there's shit in front of it.
Yep.
All right.
Could be interesting. Danvers Official says, is there any news on the Mystic Expanse being worked on? None that I'm aware of. Recently, the Mystic Expanse cargo capacity was changed from 64 to 128 a week ago.
I'll let Grim take that one because I know what he's going to say. Grim?
They've dropped some hints that either are hints or not hints, but there's been a couple of, they've said things like, next year will be expansive and stuff like that. I don't know if we should read too much into that, but Jonker did say that. Who knows? The numbers are fluctuating, but we also know that sometimes the numbers on the website can be misleading, so I wouldn't read too much into that either.
For base building to work,
about the matrix of lies.
Base building to work, you need refining because you've got to be able to take the mining and the salvage, refine it, and turn it into a base building, right? So for that to work, at some point, we need refining. And so whether it comes just in a building or it comes in the expanse, I don't think it would be much longer after, if it was in a building, I don't think it would be much longer that the expanse would then be viable because that gameplay is there. We already have it on stations. It's just what is that gameplay? Right now, it's just taking it off the station and putting it in the building and it's exactly the same thing. Cool. But what is that active part of it that a player does when he's on his ship? And I think that's the part that may delay the expanse. But anyway.
All right. Next question. The second last of V5. DK Play IH6ZG says, seeing the Galaxy 4 plan, I think it has too much floor space for bedrooms. It's like flying around a hotel. Any chance between now and release that my Galaxy gets cooler stuff, i.e. crafting? Anything's possible. Don't hold your breath. Moving on.
Yep, that's fine. That was the last one, wasn't it?
D14 Lone Star says, Kruger seems to be inspired by World War II planes. Do you think we'll see a P-38 Lightning inspired ship?
Actually, one of the names I found when I was looking up stuff for the battle cruiser was the Thunderbolt. Anvil Thunderbolt for a battle cruiser sounds pretty good to me. But anyway. Yeah. No,
so
maybe to answer that question. Maybe, but I think I think there's going to be a ship that does directly reference the P-38 Lightning at some point, in terms of look and feel. But
specifically, though, the Kruger ships are German World War II planes. Every single one of them, even the Stingray, links to a experimental VTOL aircraft that was German.
Yeah, but the Merlin does not. The Merlin P-51 ties in with the Merlin engines and that. And I would say that the Lightnings are more like your the heavy fighter with the twin tail type arrangement.
Where does the Archimedes come from then? Is that just because it was Merlin and Archimedes, or what's that reference?
Weren't the Vanguards also P-38 Lightning referenced ships?
That's one I was trying to think of. Vanguards with their twin tail had that P-38 likeness. So, and I think they even had the 4 nose guns, which was like the P-38 Lightning as well.
Right.
So, so they're very heavily levered into that. The Archimedes was supposed to be the updated class version of the P-52. It was turned into a racing ship. What link it has to anything else, I can't tell you. But the Merlin gets its name from the English Spitfire Merlin engines. P-52 ties in a P-52 fighter as well. So they were allied ships. But it does tie into very strongly those chrome sleek fighters from World War II and beyond.
All right, before we do our raid, where can people find you on the interwebs, Grim?
StarJump_Grim on both YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you stop by. And obviously StarJump Fleet Viewer and Hangar.link. You can check us out there. Again, we'll get the new ships up there this weekend. That's the goal.
Well, I hope it's not too long before drinks again before I get you guys back for another episode of Between Two Domes. But I am looking forward to it again soon.
Yeah. You've always got one dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again,
usually got one dome.
It's between two domes, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just in the middle and they're flinging shit. That's how it works, right? All right, then we're going to be raiding Bops, so I'm just creating that raid. We're going to go over and raid him. What are we going to get them to ask Bops when they get over there? What the hell is going on? Is that a monkey? What the hell was that?
Oh, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
That's them playing that game in the background.
This always gets him. Ask him why there's too many medium fighters. That's what you gotta do. Ask him why there's too many fighters. He gets very
why wasn't the Wolf a medium fighter?
All right, Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. We'll be watching and listening for a little bit, and we'll see you guys next week on Twitch. Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.
Okay.
All right, let's turn up the volume and have a little listen. Oh, your camera went off.
Boob tubes required.
Oops. Did it?
Right, I turned it off.
I accidentally closed the window. Yep.
Okay.
Oh!
Inforunners just raided with 70 cuties.
Speaking of bloody good eggs, unbelievable. The egg kings themselves. The chickens, what came before the eggs. Hey, Inforunners! How we doing? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. We're just getting started, as I'm sure you know if you were just watching the Inforunners channel. Guys, I was just over on the Inforunners channel having a yap with them. For my guys, make sure you follow Inforunners. You guys know how much I love them. You've seen all the videos that I do with them. I wouldn't do those videos with them if I didn't absolutely love them and everything they do. I've been watching them for years and years. You should start watching them. Start your year-long adventure watching them as well because they produce good content. I'm over there all the time. Grim is there over the time. Can somebody shout out Grim as well? Grim is over there all the time. Loken, Paul from the Astropub, Space Tomato. So many good eggs are always over there. Amazing community.
He never talks about himself. He always talks about us. I want him to talk about himself.
Yeah. Bobs is a good dude. I like him.
Yeah,
He's good.
He's a great dude. All right, Bobs, so you have a good stream.
Go follow Inforunners.
We'll love him and leave him
We'll
there.
catch you later.
All right. Well, then again, thank you for joining us, Grim. It was great having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Always.
Sorry I was a little bit coffee and under the weather, but thanks for having me on.
You'll have to get Algared on with a stream for you on your channel.
I want to have Algared on so bad. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. You know what? Let me break. I'm redoing my schedule. Let me redo. I'm doing that this weekend. I'll get you guys, both of you, my schedule. That way you can see what lines up in the future, and we'll see. We'll make something happen.
Yeah, but just good to. I think you guys had a really good chat today. I found myself a few times just sitting back and going, "Hey, I'll let them talk." I didn't get the chance to talk as much.
I love talking with you, Algared, and I know we don't link up as much, but it's just schedule based, so we'll make it.
No, it's, for us, it's just literally scheduling. Or times exercise.
I mean, a lot of times
going to join Grim. Grim, we're watching. Man, I'm working.
To be totally fair, a lot of times when I get Execute to come on, it's like, "Hey, Execute, I'm going live in 8 minutes." Are you available? And he jumps on, you know. So I know. But you guys have a good night. I'm gonna go
4 a.m. in the morning type of thing. So
yeah, 4 a.m. in the morning ain't gonna happen for me. I was like, no.
Yeah. I'm gonna go hang out with the daughter, but I will talk to you gents later.
All right.
So, question before you go, Grim, did she destroy the furniture in her roller skates?
You know, she's been upstairs for a while. I have heard a few bangs, so I'm.
That's why you need to spend time with your daughter.
yeah, exactly. I gotta go check before my wife gets home. Make sure the house isn't destroyed.
How much did it cost me? Yeah.
yeah. How much did it cost me to be on here today?
Yeah.
All right, then. You take care, mate. Have a good one.
Cool. Later, guys.
Bye. All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile at Patreon at the end of the video. It's been a pleasure having you guys. He's been Algared.
He's been Execute. Come, we're out of here. Take care.
Dear citizens. Oh, and Grim was the voice in the void.
Take care.
Bye.